Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Just came on a bit early to
Hey, y'all.
make sure.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris, you're on our mind recently. I was
Yes.
supposed to hit you up on Facebook chat to see how you doing and how the kids. Hope everything's been good with you. Yeah, so we came on just a bit earlier than 8 to make
Since it's our
sure.
first time,
Yeah,
yeah.
since it's our first time going live on YouTube, just to make sure everything running smoothly, and
You
we
want to turn
don't.
AC on?
Yeah, you can turn it on. We don't have any. We don't have any hiccups.
Mm-hmm. Nice to see you, Chris. Hey, bestie.
Kids
Oh,
are all well. You guys are great. Thanks.
thank you. Glad to have it on.
Yeah,
Well,
glad to hear they doing good.
the quality isn't the best, but
No,
let me
yeah.
see. Let me
I
see.
try wipe it.
Yeah. We'll try
Wait.
to figure out how to get our camera to film us next time.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a little better. Let me post that we live.
I think the time is gonna. Yeah, the quality isn't the best right now, but as time progresses, um we'll definitely make some enhancements
Yeah.
in
First
terms
time's a
of
charm.
video and audio quality.
Mm-hmm. So I can post this.
It's smooth here, no glitches. That's
Okay,
good.
that's good. Thanks. At least by you what's the word? Commenting, we know that it's working on y'all end.
Yeah, and delay on our end either.
Alright, I posted that we here.
Like I said, while you guys wait, if you have any questions or concerns, you can let us know and we can answer them.
Yeah. Questions or concerns? You sound like a business. Yeah, any questions that you have, you can leave
Mhm.
them and we'll answer them. We don't really have like a plan on how this will run. We just,
I have a few things that we wanted to touch on.
yeah, we'll see how much people ask questions or how much
Hmm.
people show up. But we know that a lot of people watch us after the fact, so we still want it to be interesting for people who watching this after the fact.
Hmm.
So if we don't get a lot of questions, we'll just answer a lot of the top questions that we usually get. Orange baby. Who's
I
this?
don't know who that is.
Orange baby. Let me think. Love you too. You don't have a picture up, so we can't tell.
No. But yeah, we'll definitely save this to our YouTube channel so anyone who would have missed it will be able to still view it.
Yeah, I posted on our Insta now. Mm,
How you guys doing? Everybody good?
So I posted on my calendars and I got to post it on yours.
Are we live now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I'd have gone on the Mata Calendars and I'd posted. I was thinking, not that we live, but I was going live. Good night, love you, bro.
Is your mommy?
Probably. Uh,
Could be.
Probably. I don't know who damn this is. Oh, that's Lissa.
Mm. Yo, we probably on the setting on.
Mm.
Oh, hey Liz. Just saying, girl. Lissa. So y'all will see me drying my hair. Two of us shampooed our hair today, so my
Mm.
hair's still a little wet. But yeah, I had to take it out. The thingy.
Been getting a lot of questions and DMs on my hair. I started to. That's just a joke, by the way. But I started to lock my hair back in June.
Yeah. Was it John?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was after we left Florida.
Yeah. And today was the first day when it actually like looked like a locks. I was actually kind of jealous. It looked so good. I was like, oh, I kind of want to lock my hair now. But yeah,
Yeah, but I've been going good so far. Zanya been locking it and retwisting it.
yeah. You can't tell now because we have each lock twist into like a twist. So
So when I loose
each of
out,
these is like two locks, and we have it twist together. So when it looks out, it have like a texture to it,
mm-hmm,
and that's also a good way to tighten it without using the clips. But I
mm-hmm.
usually do it pretty loose since we tighten it often, which you're not supposed to do.
You could just let them know briefly how it is started so that it wouldn't have a lot of build up and
Oh yeah, I'll definitely talk about that. Yes, happy Thanksgiving, Chris.
happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. What you were planning for Thanksgiving, Chris? What
I think
is
it was I think
it's Thursday, right?
no, I think we were celebrating it today.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Chase.
Hey, your job is to dress like me. That people. Thanks.
Mhm. So what I did was I started his hair with twists. Or we could probably wait until more people come in because
Mm-hmm.
they'll probably want to hear it too.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about that, but I definitely on the fence about doing it. I just over my curly natural hair. I usually just wear it in these braids and loose it out and probably put it in one. But I really thinking of locking my hair. I wanted to lock it since high school, but I couldn't because in the Bahamas you can't wear locks in school. So it was something I was gonna do after college, but I just ended up going natural instead. I mean after high school, but I just ended up going natural instead.
It's just water we sipping on,
Yeah, it's just water.
not gin and ginger ale or
These are bottles that we travel with.
yeah.
So it,
I think there's a 32 ounce.
yeah, yeah. This
There's a
is.
32 ounce and it's a 22 or 24.
I think this one is 24. I think it's 21 actually.
Oh, 21.
Yeah,
We picked both of those up the last time we were
in
in
Florida.
Florida because we know while we would be walking around different cities in the daytime, we don't want to be constantly buying
Buying
water.
water.
So you just want to have quick access to water.
Yeah, so like in most of the places, you could get like the 5 liter bottle for
Mhm.
less than you could get like a little bottle of water. So the 5 liter bottle will probably be like, I'd say like $2 in their currency, which is like cents.
Mhm.
Whereas the small bottle for convenience, it'll probably be like 5. So we usually like to just walk around with our water, and if we need to, we'll buy like a
Buy
liter or
and
something.
refill
Yeah.
the bottles.
And they have the cover have like a handle, and then we have clips.
Mhm.
So we usually clip it to our backpack when we travel, so we don't have to hold it.
Yeah.
What has been your guys' favorite destination? Oh, that's a good question.
We're traveling as far as food, hospitality, and currency.
It's 8 o'clock now, so we could start with the questions.
So we have a question coming in from Chris. He says, what has been your favorite you guys travel favorite destination for traveling as far as food, hospitality, and currency?
You could go first.
Um, I'd say they've all been fairly reasonable,
Yeah.
currency wise. Hospitality, I would say Turkey and Mexico. Food, I'd say Turkey and
Turkey,
Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since we started traveling, we've only really been to
1, 2, 3,
Turkey,
4,
Serbia, Mexico,
5.
Romania. Well,
Mexico, Turkey,
Romania,
Serbia,
Serbia.
Romania.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, we've only been to 4 places.
Yeah, Mexico, Turkey, Serbia, and
Romania.
Romania.
But we went to a few countries before we started traveling. Like we went to Italy
Mhm.
when we were still in Halifax. We went there on a vacation.
Yeah.
And that was also our first time in Mexico. So as far as our travel
Oh, yeah,
for your birthday.
yeah, but that was different though.
I know. As
Yeah.
far as like our travel journey before like full-time travel, like when we're talking about traveling together, since we've been married or since we've been together, when we were dating, we only went to the States together
Hmm. And then right after we got married for our honeymoon, we went
on
on a cruise.
Yeah.
So we flew into Orlando, spent 7 days with Zanya's mom and dad,
Mm-hmm.
and then me and Zanya went on a cruise to Bonaire, Dominican Republic,
Curacao and Aruba, but we didn't come
Curacao, and
off
Aruba. We
the.
didn't come off in Aruba because that was around the time of Zika virus,
Yeah,
so we didn't
we
want to
didn't
risk that.
transit because before we went on a cruise, they sent out an email and they're like, Aruba and I think Curacao had it,
hmm
and Grand Turk.
hmm
Like all of them in that area had it. And although we weren't pregnant at the time or trying to have a baby, it's still like side effects
Yeah, still different
if you get it. So
Mhm.
like we'd still be sick. So we didn't come off the cruise, which was good because we were still working. So vacations were like exploring and trying to relax.
Mhm.
So we got a lot of rest on that. But we ended up coming off in Bonell, which was like our favorite in that area. That was really nice.
Yeah.
Um, and then Dominican Republic we came off.
Mhm.
So I don't think
We didn't do much in the Dominican Republic though.
No,
We
it
just
was
come off in
quick.
the touristy area, like what would be what would be the straw market
Yeah.
in Nassau.
So I'd say Dominican Republic was like our first country, and Grand Turk because the other places aren't. They're like territories.
Mhm.
So like Bonaire,
It's
Curacao,
a
and
Dutch
Aruba
territory.
is like Dutch territories.
Mhm.
So those were our first places that we traveled to, and then when we moved to Canada,
We went to
we went to Mexico for Darian's
yeah.
birthday. We went to Montreal.
Mhm.
I think that was Darian's birthday too.
Yeah,
And then we went to Italy for
that's a vacation.
that was like around Thanksgiving. Yeah. So I'd say like that was 2008, 19.
19.
Thanksgiving. We went to Italy.
Mhm.
That was good. Like before we started traveling, Italy was hands down my favorite country. Up
Mhm.
until like recently, I would say to me, Italy was my favorite. But Turkey, like Chris, to answer your question, Turkey for me is Turkey so far. So, excuse me, you said food. So for food, when you look at Turkish food, it doesn't look like it would be appetizing because it's mainly like hummus, baba ganoush, stuff that usually have like strong flavors. But the food was so good. It was so good. And then hospitality, the people are so nice. Like the people
Yeah.
in Mexico we find are really nice too.
Mhm.
But it's different, especially with the language barrier.
Mhm.
The language barrier in Mexico a little different than the language barrier in Turkey because Turkish people so nice and like they want to talk to you.
Mhm.
They'll try hard to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like even if y'all just exchanging a few words, they trying their hardest to have a conversation with you. And then Darian learned a lot in Turkish. Like he learned my brain still was like in Spanish, so it was very hard for me to learn Turkish in terms of like pronunciation. I would see a Turkish word and I would like I would pronounce it how it would be if it was a Spanish word. So I'd be rolling my R's and it just wouldn't be a good time. And Darian tried to help me learn a few, but I couldn't remember them. So Darian was doing really good with like speaking Turkish with the locals. And we literally have like people we know we could go back to and they'll remember us and they feel like friends or family from Turkey. And it'll be as simple as like going into a random store, even in like the touristy areas. Like we went to Galata Tower and we went into a store. It was like a Turkish towel store, and we was telling him like how we wanted Turkish towels, but because we were traveling with we still had backpacks.
We were traveling light, so we couldn't really
Yeah.
carry any heavy pieces. And he gave us
He gave us something
two
free,
Evil
yeah.
Eye trinkets. I have it right here,
Yeah,
actually.
we always keep it in our bags. But in Turkey, the hospitality just next level. They always giving you free things. Yeah, he gave us the evil eye, which in Turkey is a big thing. It's to protect you against like the evil eye or evil energy or someone looking at you in an evil way. So hey Patrick.
Hey, Patrick, what's going on?
So in Turkey, mind you, before we went, everybody on all the videos they were saying like how Turkish people would constantly give you free things and like expect nothing back. And we were like, yeah, whatever, like, yeah, it's probably them, or it's probably because they see you have a camera or whatever. But no, when you go there, they're giving you free things all day. Tea, if you go into like a dessert store, they're giving you all kind of samples for free. Even if you're just looking, they're giving you stuff for free, and they like genuinely nice. They genuinely want to help you.
And I was just gonna say on the hospitality aspect, it's the difference when someone's trying to be friendly
Yeah.
to attract you to buy something from them, and then when someone is genuinely uh friendly and sociable and hospitable, and that's
Yeah,
how it was in Turkey. Not to
yeah.
say that Mexicans are
Like
only
that for the
friendly
money.
to for the money or whatever, but
It's
it's
harder for
really
them, I feel, to connect.
yeah.
But they're really nice. Like Mexicans, really nice. They'll
Hmm.
help you. But I don't know, the Turkish hospitality just different. Turkey, hands down, is my favorite country, and we definitely thinking of getting residency there because it's pretty easy if you get
Hmm.
it from within Turkey. So the next time we go there, I definitely want to get residency so we have more time to fully explore a lot of Turkey and really get good content. I feel like we got good content considering it was under lockdown for the
Hmm.
majority of the time we were there,
And
but
we
we still had a really good time.
and we were able to hit three different parts of Turkey, and for
Hmm.
the entire 3 months that we were there, we always felt safe.
Yeah,
It wasn't one time where we felt in danger or like we needed. Of course, we were moving with caution,
yeah,
but we didn't feel overly in fear.
at all.
In fear at all.
And we would be out late. Like, so with the restrictions were only for locals, which
Hmm.
I was kind of happy that we didn't get residency right away
Hmm.
because if we got residency while we were there last time,
We
we
would
would
have
have
been
been under
inside
lockdown.
by 70.
Yeah, we would have. So if you have residency, the curfew is for you. If
Hmm.
things shut down, it's for you. But because we were tourists, we still had like free reign. That's the word.
Yeah, to go out like
So
after lockdown because
yeah,
when it came into effect, we were in Antalya,
yeah,
which is at the
south
south.
of Turkey, super
Yeah, we were
pretty.
in Cash.
Uh-huh. And like it was kind of strange because for me, like we heard about the lockdown come in because we
Hmm.
were in an expat group, which is a big tip. Every country we go into and we're about to be there for longer than 2 weeks, we join a expat group on Facebook
Hmm.
because you learn a lot. Like you learn about upcoming lockdowns if the government said something, and then you're dealing with different languages too. So if something came out from the government, by the time they translate it to English, it would be like days later. So it was nice to be in an expat group because you had people in there who would translate stuff right away and be like, hey, the government say we going under lockdown and this would happen.
Hmm.
So it was really good by being in that group. So by being in that group, they told us about the lockdown and we're like, okay, Turkey is a big country. They probably will like enforce it in Istanbul, but probably not in like Kash or the smaller places.
Yeah,
No, they
but it was
enforce that
everywhere.
everywhere. They
Rest
enforce that everywhere.
Restaurants are closed early, but
Hmm.
you could still order
Take out.
takeout and delivery on the apps.
And
So that was a good thing,
you had
and
a
then there was
few
no more.
restaurants that were open late, like
Hmm.
Queen's Ship, that saved us a lot.
Yeah.
Even on Christmas Day, because we were in Turkey for Christmas, and Christmas
Hmm.
isn't really a thing because it's a Muslim country.
Hmm.
So I want to say Christmas Day we went out. It was dead, super dead outside, and it was another traveler when we were coming back with food, and she's like, "Where did y'all get food from?" So and this was after lockdown hours too.
Hmm.
So yeah, considering it was under lockdown, I would say 75% of the time we were there or longer, really. We still had a really good time. So the
Yeah.
next time we go there, I know we'll have even a better time. And then he also said with the currency, the Turkish currency was really good too. We went there at a really good time for us, really bad time for them.
Hmm.
So their dollar value had decreased. So one US dollar was like 8 Turkish lira when probably like a few years ago, one US dollar is like 3 Turkish lira. So our money went super far and it was really affordable.
Yeah. So 8 Turkish lira could get you like two two like two hamburgers and a soda from this corner store,
Yeah.
or like a few Durham wrap, not Durham. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
a few chicken Durham wraps. So just chicken, lettuce,
Hmm.
tomato, and cheese inside the wrap. So maybe two or three of those,
For a dollar.
two of those, and a drink as well.
For a dollar. Yeah. Or like I'd say the majority of things were like 12 liras.
Hmm.
So like around $1.50, $1.30 ish. You could get a lot. So the currency in Turkey was really good. So far, everywhere we went, the currency was good because we intentionally went to save money.
Hmm.
So like our money went far everywhere. But Mexico, the currency goes far. It's kind of tricky in Tulum because Tulum is like foreigner zone essentially. It's mainly tourists or expats. There's a huge expat group here, so the price is kind of marked up, but you could still live pretty affordably if you don't do nothing, essentially. Like we've been staying inside the house to save money because we're trying to figure out like our next step. So
We have a question coming in from Celeb Investing.
talk about it.
Is Mexico your base country? Which countries is easier to travel to, Turkey or Mexico?
Yeah, for now, Mexico being our home base, it's just so easy because you automatically get a 6-month visa for free. Like you don't have to apply, you just come, they give you 6 months.
You don't need a test to get into the country.
You don't need a test and you don't need anything really. It's no restrictions.
No test, no quarantine,
Nothing.
nothing.
So it was easy to come to Mexico from places, especially like if you're coming from a far place, you don't have to worry about your test expiring before you get there. Like that's a big thing. Like it's easy to find tests now in a lot of countries, but by the time you get to your final destination, if they only have like 48 hours, the 48-hour rule, your test may be expired. So Mexico is really easy. And then we really fell in love with the apartment that we're in now. It feels like home. And I think especially because Tulum was the first place we came to when we left Canada, outside of going home to drop our bags off and spend time with family. Tulum became like a home base for us, mainly because of this apartment. Like if it wasn't because of this apartment, we wouldn't be here, you know? So anytime we need to like slow down or like regroup or clear our head and chill somewhere for a bit, we've been coming here to Tulum.
And then too, with the testing, to get a PCR antigen test is a lot more cheaper now than when we first came in terms of leaving to head to
Another
the US or
country.
anywhere else. Back then, I was trying to get a PCR to go home, and it was like $450 US.
Yeah,
But now a PCR is
like
100.
30,
A
like
PCR,
$30 US.
the PCR, the antigen. The
Oh,
antigen is like 30, and the PCR is 100
yeah.
now.
I thought it was
So
cheaper to
a
Chedraui.
big difference.
I think the PCR went down to like 80 now. And with Turkey is also, so for us, we feel like Mexico and Turkey are the perfect home base for us because for this side of the world, Mexico is like the easiest and like still pretty affordable. And then Mexico have direct flights from here to the US, here to Europe. Like they have direct flights to Germany, and they add a lot of direct flights from Cancun specifically to like different parts of Europe, different parts of Canada. So this will be a really good home base for us, as well as Turkey. Turkey is like at the center of, if you look at the world map, Turkey in the center. So especially like Istanbul, they call it like the heart of the world, I think they call it. So Turkey is easy as a home base to get to other places. So like when things open up and we want to get to like Asia or Europe or even the side of the world, Turkey is like in the middle of everything. So we feel like Mexico and Turkey are like the two main home base for us. And we feel like we'll be in Mexico as a home base more when we want to be close to home. So like probably when we start to have kids, we'll spend more time here in Mexico as opposed to Turkey because we'll be closer to family to be making visits home.
And then too, it would be dependent on where you're coming from in regards to visa on arrival, or if you have to apply for your visa ahead of time.
For Turkey, this is.
For Turkey, but both Turkey and Mexico are fairly easy to enter.
Yeah, for Turkey, we did the visa online. It was the same process for Americans because we traveled with an American to Turkey. At least we met up with her in Portugal.
In Portugal, yeah.
And took like the last 2 flights to Turkey together. And it was the same process for all of us. We had to go online at this official website, apply for the visa, and it didn't take long at all. It took like, first it took like 2 days.
And they emailed a PDF.
They emailed it to us, yeah.
PDF version.
And it was for 3 months.
Yeah, and we still printed it out just to have both.
Yeah, but the only reason we ended up leaving Turkey when we did was because we ran out of time. Like I think we left probably like a week left on our visa because we said we wanted to go to Egypt, and if we did go to Egypt, we may have to come back to Turkey probably to leave the area. So we left time.
Yeah, but, because we didn't want them to pay a fine, because if you overstay, then you have to pay a fine.
Yeah, so we'll just explore more when we go back. Can't wait though. Like I can't stop thinking about it, and I can't stop talking about it.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, I want to go back. Like I could do a little Christmas in Turkey, but we kind of like want to avoid the winter this time. So we thinking of, if we going back to Turkey, probably like
It'll be in the springtime.
February, March, the earliest.
So
Let's-
Bernadine says, "How did you decide on going to Turkey?" I didn't remember how you decided to go there.
So we met our friend Ta when we met Ta here. Remember? So Ta is also a YouTuber. She's been traveling full time for 3 years.
3 years, I think.
Yeah. So we met her in Tulum
Tulum.
last time. We just went to dinner and she was there. We didn't even know she was in Mexico, but we were like, we hailed her and we were like, we watch a YouTube channel, and then she invited us out to meet up with her and her friends, and
The next day.
we became really good friends after that. So around the time when we had the hurricane, you remember? We had a lot of hurricanes.
It'd have been like one or two hurricanes and like a tropical storm
storms.
in the span of like a week and a half.
Yeah, so like within a month, it almost felt like every weekend was like a hurricane or tropical storm. And because they were like in an area called La Valletta, they lost power for a whole week. So they would always come here to work in the day because we still had power and we still had internet or whatever. So just being travelers, we were like, okay, where are we going to next? After we saw that like a lot of countries were starting to open up. And I think we ended up talking about Turkey. So we ended up watching a lot of videos. And that's how we usually decide. Like we go on YouTube and we watch a lot of videos. And then now with COVID, you have to see who's open and like what the day-to-day look like. So that's how we decided on Turkey. We saw a lot of YouTube videos and we're like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it was a lot of people in Turkey around that time.
Yeah, a lot of people going to Turkey around that time too. So that also helped. And we were able to find a ticket from Florida to Turkey for $227 US.
$227.
We hop on that so fast. And then the rent wasn't bad either. Like in Istanbul, we were like in the main touristy area, and I think we were paying like 600 euros a month for like a modern style apartment with Neslihan.
Yeah, we were able to build up a great relationship with the Airbnb host Neslihan.
Yeah.
So each time,
like 3 or 4 her places.
Yeah, each time we left Istanbul to go to Antalya or Cappadocia or wherever, even Serbia, she kept our luggage for us for free.
Yeah, and we'd always like stay in one of her places because her and her sister had a couple of Airbnbs together. So we stayed in like 4 of her places. So I'd say like 600 euros for the month. We were paying for like to stay in a touristy area in Istanbul, and then in Cappadocia, our rent for the month was like $320.
Yeah.
So it was super cheap. So
and all of the Airbnb, sorry, not to cut you, all of the Airbnbs in Istanbul and the one in Cappadocia were in a great area.
Yeah.
So the ones in Istanbul, they're all basically close to Istiklal, which is like the main strip with restaurants and shopping and the different mosques. So that was great.
Yeah. So the good thing with us building relationships in Turkey, which is very easy, we could always message them and be like, what do y'all have available? And we know we don't have to pay as much as we would pay like on Airbnb for living accommodation. So when we go back, it'll be easy to stay with them, or it'll be easy to get a lease from them to say like, apply for our residency.
And it'll be good too if when you're searching for Airbnbs to find someone who has multiple properties.
Yeah.
So if they have a property that's all booked out, you can go to one of the other properties and stay there. Yeah. Especially if you've already built up a relationship with them.
But we could talk more about that if y'all want us to. Just let us know what y'all questions if you want us to talk more about like how we work around getting affordable rent when we travel in. What kind of jobs do they have in Turkey if you don't have residency? So if you don't have residency, you could only stay, depending on your visa. Like, I think for the most part, everybody have 3 months. It may be a few countries that have a month, but it wouldn't be like, I think it'd be like more like the Arab countries in the area. They may have a month. I know. But if you don't have residency, you could only be there for 3 months in a 6-month period. So for the most part, it'll be like if you have a job online already. So you wouldn't be able to get a job because you'll only be there for 3 months. And if you do have residency, the majority of people, they teach English in Turkey. not online, but like at an actual center.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's what I heard. And then in Turkey too, expats get paid higher than locals. The minimum wage is almost double. So you can make decent money for like the quality of life in Turkey. It wouldn't be a lot compared to like the States or Canada, but you could live a really good, comfortable life with the money you'd be making if you work in there. But for us, the goal is always to have money online. So we have that location independence. Like we could live anywhere in the world and just work online.
Yeah, one of the major downsides one of the major downsides we faced while in Turkey was definitely the internet.
I coming back.
And it was a big issue because we were doing Vlogmas. So that's where you upload a video every day for 25 days. Or some people just upload it for 24 days and they don't do anything on Christmas Day. But the internet was a big, a, a big downfall there, especially after restrictions, because normally if we had um, unstable internet at our Airbnb, we would go to a cafe and be able to upload the video there. But
Yeah.
after restrictions came into effect and we still face trouble with the internet, we would just have to um, upload the video using data.
Yeah, which was pretty affordable.
Yeah.
But the issue with the internet was because of the earthquake. Remember, there was an earthquake in Izmir. I want to say a few months before we came, and ever since then they were having internet issues. So our first Airbnb, we were able to upload our YouTube videos but do nothing else. Like
That was really
that
interesting.
was strange because usually uploading to YouTube takes the most, but we were able to thankfully upload to YouTube, but we couldn't do nothing else. And then our second Airbnb, we couldn't really do much. And then Antalya for sure couldn't do nothing. We couldn't do nothing. And when we got to Cappadocia, it was better. And our other times in Istanbul, like because we said we stayed at 4 of our apartments. The other 3, the internet was perfectly fine. It was just our first place that had issues there.
No, it was the second one too. No, the first.
Not the first one.
It was the second one because the one after with John, that one was fine.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So it was the second one.
Just the second one, but the first, third, and fourth one, we didn't have issues. I like, yeah, we really enjoyed Vlogmas.
Yeah.
It was rough because of the internet, but
And it was interesting to experience it in Turkey, especially with it being a Muslim country.
yeah. Let me see. I remember the restaurant in Turkey that invited Darian back in the kitchen to eat because you guys ate there so often. Oh yeah.
The one where we took Tatum and where we went out to eat on Christmas Day.
Yeah, so Chris, that restaurant was actually our secret restaurant because remember they were under restrictions and they actually they're pretty strict when they under restriction. So like when it's curfew, all the police would be outside. You'd hear the helicopters flying around to make sure nobody outside and they ain't supposed to be outside.
And the police would still be like driving around the different places where they know people would be
Yeah.
to make sure that no establishments were letting in
people and they're not supposed to. So for us, we had to walk. Like if we were out after curfew, we had to walk with our passport and our like visa card to show them that we were tourists. But that one restaurant, they was letting people in. So I don't know how we stumbled upon it. We just stumbled upon it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, go in the back." And we went in the back. It just was like everybody sitting down. They had all the windows blocked off, so that saved us a lot. Anytime we got tired of ordering out, or like we out and about and we need something to eat and we can't go all the way home, we were able to stop there. So we went there a lot.
And the food was nice and fresh. And
that was the best.
Flavorful.
That was like the best food we had in Turkey. That's hey Belinda. Hey Frida. Wi-Fi and internet connection was a major downside. It really was. It really was a major downside. Belinda asked, "Are we going back home soon?" We were planning to go back home for Christmas, but we'll get stuck there because the US will be closed to people who aren't vaccinated.
Yeah.
So we'd be stuck home, or we'd have to pay $12,000 $1,200 and to fly to London,
Mhm.
because that'll be the only direct flight we could take from home. So unfortunately, we won't be going home.
And we don't know how long we would have that option because restrictions
London
in London are changing
all the time.
all the time.
So we'd be stuck. So, but thankfully we're supposed to be. I don't know if my mommy on here. Mommy's supposed to be watching this. I dress up for you. Fortunately, we're meeting up with my mommy in Florida. For 2 weeks, supposed to be this week. So it's not set in stone yet, but we're supposed to be meeting up with my mommy for 2 weeks in Florida and then coming back to decide what we're doing next. But we'll talk about like our future plans soon too. Patrick asked if they have hookah in Turkey. They did, but it was under restriction, but they had people in the road who would be like shisha.
Yeah.
They call it shisha in Turkey. It's a big cultural thing. So it's not like a trend or anything. It's like literally a part of their culture. They have a lot of shisha lounges, but we definitely want to experience that when we go back. We did experience it in Romania though. That was lit. That was nice. Yeah.
I remember been to South Beach.
Yeah. The one in Romania was like $7.
The one in Romania was a lot better than the one on South
Miami,
Beach.
yeah. South Beach, they gave us one little thing, and it was
We had to pay to
one,
refill the
two,
coals,
three,
but we
four.
didn't.
It was 5 of us.
Yeah.
We was with my mommy too on that trip. We also have a vlog of that, but that was my first time trying it. That was my mommy's first time trying it. But our friends and Darren had tried it before, so we did it again in Romania. It was $7, and it was like unlimited. They kept bringing out more coals. That was good. And then he asked, "What is the best?"
Some of the best lounges or social clubs you'll experience. That I would say that was because it was like a lounge, bar, restaurant type setup. The one in Romania.
Yeah, the whole corridor. So it's like this building. It's a very like touristy building called I think it's Macra Passage or something like that.
Yeah.
And the whole passage turns into like a bunch of hookah lounges at night.
Yeah, so similar to like what an arcade would be, the arcade downtown, where you have a bunch of different stores and lounges and things like that. So I'd say that one was the best one.
Yeah.
That we've experienced.
I've heard the ones in Turkey really good though, but they just were under restrictions when we were there, so we couldn't really get that full experience. But the place where we stayed in Cappadocia for a month, they had hookah outside, and he was like, "Whenever you want to do hookah, just let me know and I'll set it up." But we just never did it.
Yeah,
it kind of like slipped our mind. Jamie said, "Do you guys think you'll backpack in the US, or is it too expensive here?" We would love to backpack the US, but the issue with the US is it's so spread out, and you kind of have to rely on having a car.
Yeah.
So like in Europe, you could backpack because if you look at the US and look at all the states in Europe, all those states would be different countries. So like it's easy to get from country to country by bus or like a short train or even like an overnight bus or overnight train. So that's why it's so much easier. And then in Europe too, you could rely heavily on public transportation. So trains, metros, buses. But it's not really like that in the States. Like when we were in Florida and when mommy left, and because my mommy had rented a car, because the car rentals were crazy around that time. When mommy left and we didn't have a car because we were just chilling, we didn't get a car. It
was brutal. Even
it was rough to go right next door
to Publix or to
Chick-fil-A and Publix.
Chick-fil-A.
It was like right next door.
Felt like a mile.
It felt like
miles actually.
30-minute walk. And like the cars would just be driving by, and I'm like, literally in a car, this walk could take 30 seconds. But I was like, man, in the States, you need a car.
Yeah, so van life would be more.
Yeah, van life would be more feasible, but I don't know how that'd work out since we're not like U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
In terms of like having a vehicle that's like licensed under our name.
Yeah, I think we could only be there for like 6 months. 6 months would be more than enough time to do.
But I don't think we'd be able to get it licensed or anything.
No.
So we'd have to like do it under somebody's license, which we wouldn't want to get into.
Yeah.
So a lot of travelers talk about that too, because I know that y'all traveling sound like something so crazy, but like when you start traveling, you understand how normal this lifestyle is for so much people. Even like here in Tulum, where it's like so much expats from like we met people from Paris, from Italy, from
Argentina,
all over, even in like Turkey. I'd say the first time I had this moment was in Italy when we were in Venice in the hostel, and I was sitting down and I was looking around at people, and I'm like, to people, this is so normal. Like they've
Mhm.
been traveling for years, full time.
Especially if you're European, is much more convenient.
Yeah, like for them, they've been traveling for years, full time, and it's like nothing to them. It's as normal as a 9 to 5 for them.
Mhm.
So you learn a lot by watching them travel, and a lot of them always complain because they really want to travel the U.S., but it's really hard to backpack
Mhm.
because it's not a big hostel scene. You can find hostels, but it's not a big thing.
Mhm.
And then the transportation, and then things just too far apart, you know.
Yeah, so it's definitely not as walkable as Europe, maybe.
And it's definitely way more expensive for
Mhm.
sure. But for us in the Bahamas, we used to feel like the US so cheap. That's
Mhm.
crazy. Eh? And now that we travel in, the US feels so expensive, especially now when we came back. First of all, everything went up. Even like McDonald's was that expensive when we went
Mhm.
back last time. So I don't know. The whole time in Europe, in the US, we are like, this feels so different,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think the first day or second day we got back to Florida, we had ordered Chick-fil-A on Uber or DoorDash, and it was like
Almost
30
$40.
30 plus dollars for two or three burgers, fries, and we get a drink.
No,
We
we
didn't
didn't
even
get
get a
nothing like
drink,
that. Yeah.
but that same $30 in Mexico could get us maybe three
Yo,
reusable bags full of groceries.
yeah, that could
Not
go
not
so
even not
far.
even exaggerating. Like
Yeah,
literally three bags of groceries.
and we can all agree like it used to be a time when you could go to the states and then McDonald's would be so cheap. Like you could get a like if you really don't have no money, you could get a meal. You could get like a burger for $1 or
Mhm.
whatever. But like when we
You
go to
know it bad when
McDonald's,
it ain't even a dollar menu or things on a dollar menu cost more than a dollar.
yeah, so it's pretty expensive. Um, Most Bahamians usually travel only within the continental USA because of proximity. What advice do you give to encourage people to be more adventurous travelers? That's kind of like why we started our channel too, because we wanted to show people how attainable it was to
Hmm.
travel to these places. And we showed it from both sides because like we said, when we went to Italy, it was on our vacation, which most people only travel in with their vacation time, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we want to make videos on how to maximize your vacation days, like utilizing the weekends or utilizing holidays to
Holidays.
get more time, because that's
Hmm.
what we used to do,
Hmm.
especially me. I would wait for like, because home you had double holidays where you would have a holiday on a Friday and a Monday, which wasn't the case in Canada. So home, I was like, anytime a Friday and Monday holiday came, I would, with those two holidays plus that weekend, that's already 4 extra days, you know what I mean, added on to your vacation days.
Or if you're a shift worker, you can ask if you can work the morning shift so you can get off midday, not midday, but get off like 1, 2 in the afternoon or something like that, and still catch a
A
good
flight that,
afternoon flight
mm-hmm.
where you'll be able to wouldn't be a full day wasted of travel.
Yeah, so we started a YouTube channel to show that how affordable it could be. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? So like we were trying to tell our cousins too that and our family members, we like to go to the States because it's so, like you say, proximity is one, and then it's so affordable. Not
Hmm.
affordable, but it's our comfort zone.
Hmm.
Whereas you could take that same money and go to Italy. Or you know what I mean? Like for us, we tell ourselves that these places are unreachable or not attainable, or you have to have so much money to go there.
Hmm.
But
And
when you actually get there, it's not the case. Like we went to Italy and I want to say we barely spent half of our budget.
I'd say a lot of people aren't willing to spend 14, 16, 22 hours just to get where they're going
Hmm.
during their vacation time. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that'd be like 2 days wasted going and coming.
But if, like I say, if you utilize weekends,
Hmm.
and if like let's say your vacation start on a Friday and you could get off early, you could take an overnight flight and
Hmm.
be at your next destination like midday Saturday. So that cut off that time, and it doesn't feel like you use up so much of your vacation time to like actually fly there.
Hmm.
So that's what we used to do. So
Or
that's a good
even,
question. Or we could do a video on like how you could travel more using your vacation time,
mhm.
and like probably give some examples on where we would advise Bahamians to go other than Florida, because usually when they go to the States it's usually Florida.
Yeah,
um and probably some tips on how to save money on
on
tickets, on
accommodations.
accommodation, all of that.
Hmm.
So definitely would we spend in Italy, was way less than what we would spend in Florida.
Mhm.
And we had a grand time. We went to Rome, Florence, Pisa, and Venice.
Because the average ticket from like Nassau to Florida is like 250 or more, you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 250 or more. If you're traveling with your significant other or another person,
Mm-hmm.
you multiply that by how much ever, then you have to pay for your accommodations, which is on average
A lot.
125 to 150 a night. If
Mm-hmm.
you're staying for 6 days, then that's 1,000 plus. Then plus the car rental
A lot.
and then food. So and in total, you're spending
You spending
6, 7
grands.
thousand, and that ain't even your spending money.
You spending grands,
So you
honestly,
could take that same money, go somewhere in Europe, go somewhere in South
and
America,
spend
and
less.
maximize your efforts and your experience.
Yeah, because a good tip too is like if you use booking.com,
Mhm.
which we learned in Romania, because we also used to use Airbnb, and Airbnb tripping these days. Like the prices are like hotel prices at this point. If you're not staying for a whole month, the prices are like hotel prices. But you can find a really good hotel on booking.com for like $25.
Mhm.
And you know, like right now in Florida, hotels like the cheapest you may find is 100, but like the average kind of like okay hotel would be like 120 a night. So that alone, and then transportation. If you're taking trains and taking like public transportation, which is very comfortable there, you don't have to worry about renting a car and doing all of that. You could
Mhm.
tour a whole country for way less than what you would spend 2 weeks like in Fort Lauderdale
And you could even hit multiple
doing nothing.
countries.
Yeah, for
Take a
real.
little $10, $11 train or $5 bus. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot you could do. If you want help from us, you could always email me. Not email me. You could always message us on Instagram.
Yeah.
We also have our Instagram like in the description box. You
Yeah,
can
and our
message us on
email too.
Instagram, and we can help you like plan it out, like tell you what we use to find affordable flights and all of that,
Mhm.
or how to maximize your vacation time, or where we suggest you go based on your budget.
It's all
But
about keeping an open mind and being open to new ways of doing things.
traveling is very mental. Like
Mhm.
it's very much a mental thing. If you tell yourself, and this would I used to do for years, like I used to tell myself, I have to have so much money to go to Europe. Full stop. I never even look at the tickets. I never look at nothing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I just used to tell myself, I'm not even gonna look because I can't afford it. When really it was way cheaper than the trips that I was taking all the time, you know? And how I know it's a mental thing, I had a coworker in Halifax, and I want to say she didn't try, she was making really good money because I was working in accounting, so a lot of people was making really good money, and she was still living at home. So basically, her pay was just her money to spend however she wanted to. So she had the disposable income, and I always asked her like, why didn't you travel to? I think we went to Montreal, and she was like,
Mhm.
I'm so jealous. I want to go to Montreal. So I would ask her like, why didn't you travel or whatever, and then she would say, oh, it's just so expensive. And like by the time I started telling her like how much it cost us and like how cheap the tickets was, she couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Like she didn't
Mhm.
even look it up, and she's been there for basically her whole life.
Mhm.
She didn't even look it up because sometimes you just tell ourselves, oh, I can't afford to go there, or oh, Italy, that sounds expensive, I can't afford to go there, when really like you could go to Italy and get wine at a restaurant for $2. Like where can you get wine at a restaurant in the States for $2? You know what I mean?
And I was just gonna say that it's all like relative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what may be expensive to one person may not be expensive to the other. Not to say that the other person is making that much more than you,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not how much you make is what you're able to do with your money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And I'm comparing it for Bahamians who usually go to like Florida,
Mhm.
because I know how much money we would usually spend to get there, accommodation, renting a car, and all of that, buying food, going shopping. If I compare it to how much we would spend there, we definitely spend way less in Italy. So I
Mhm.
could kind of measure it based on that. Like I know how much the average meal would cost us in Florida, because I know kind of like the average restaurants Bahamians would go to on their
Mhm.
trips. Like you could literally eat a fine meal in Italy with wine, with dessert, with everything for
So
like
it's all based on
$25
it's all
for
based
two people.
on what you're willing to do and how much you're willing to sacrifice to attain what it is that you really want.
Yeah, once you open minded,
Hmm.
you'd be surprised, because just one simple search of like tickets, you'd be like, I could get all the way there for that price. Or like once you see how much your accommodations is, you'd be like, what? You
Hmm.
know? So
And
that's why
then,
we always share the prices in our videos, because we want people to see how attainable it could be for our like
yeah.
for us. Like people, when I say us, we mean people who make US dollars, or coming from the Bahamas, or coming from Florida, or coming from the US, or coming from Canada. Like, it's really attainable. Wait. Oh,
Luis,
hey,
look,
Luis.
what's up?
When y'all
Well,
visiting Monterey, we need to come visit, man, for
yeah, you
real.
definitely need to come there soon.
Hi guys, very interested in the vlogs in Romania as a solo female block traveler. I'm a little scared to go to places in Eastern Europe. Would you recommend Romania for people like me? Definitely.
For sure.
Romania, I'd say, is a really good place for solo black female travelers, because people just mind their business. Like, you don't really have to like. So I know some people could be intimidated by Turkey, because like the people are very friendly, and you may have some man come up to you and just start talking to you. And for some people that may be off-putting. But Romania, nobody can bother you. So you may be a little bored if you go by yourself, because you're gonna have to work real hard to like, unless you stay in a hostel. Like, if you stay in a hostel, you'll find other travelers who would easily like talk to you and travel around with you. But to say locals, you're gonna have to go out of your way to talk to locals. And mainly I'd say talk to like the younger locals, because most of all the younger locals, they all know English. But if you talk to like an older Romanian local, they may just ignore you.
And I'd say
They just ignore you.
travel light too if you can, because if you want to hop on a train to go to Brasov or Sanaya or somewhere like that, you don't want to be held back because you have a carry on, a big piece of luggage and a backpack. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So travel as light as you can, so you wouldn't miss out on any opportunities. Because you may meet some travelers and they may be
Yes.
road tripping to another city or area, and you
You
don't.
could just join them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we met a traveler when we were eating in Brasov, and he just started talking us. Yeah, so you just have those instances where you go to a cafe, and there may be another young traveler who see you there alone, and there may be another black traveler, and they may ask, like, they may come up to you and start talking to you. So just be open to meeting new people. Of course, being safe about it, but be open-minded to meeting other travelers and probably joining them out when they go to the restaurant or something like that. But I definitely say Romania is good for a solo traveler. There's a lot you could do. You could hop on trains for like $5 and go to the mountains, or go to anywhere really.
Um, and you may get the occasional stares because they're not used to seeing black people. You know what I mean? But it's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, they don't look at you crazy. They just stare at you because some of them literally never seen black people before. But yeah, we got used to it really.
Yeah.
That was the first place where we experienced like a lot of stares, I would say. But it wasn't like crazy. It wasn't nothing crazy.
No.
Every so often you'd have like the older person, they might stare at you because like they can't believe you there, kind of thing. But for the most part, people just mind their business, for sure. They don't be checking at all.
No.
But don't be afraid. Like, if you're afraid, that's the first step. You know, like that's the first. You can't really think straight when you like operating and fail. I bring that to see if we wanted to prop it up. You can't really think straight when you operating and fail. Once you be like sensible about it, let's see if this better for y'all. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Once you like go in with an open mind, and you know, like, you always trust your intuition. If your intuition say to leave a place, leave. Like, if you check into somewhere and you feel uneasy
and the vibe just
off, just always follow that feeling. Your intuition will save you from a lot. So once you open-minded and you like, you know, you'll be set, because you know you won't do nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you'll be aware of your surroundings, or you wouldn't go flashing your money, or you know what I mean? Once you use common sense when you travel, and like just not make yourself a target, you'll be good. And that's even coming from us who usually walk around with a camera. Like, that's one thing I worry about, especially when I think about like traveling South America, like traveling with a professional camera. I'll be like, I don't know, you know, like, I don't know how to feel. Or I thought that's how I would feel in Turkey too, but it was fine in Turkey.
And the good thing is our camera isn't like OD like a DSLR. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's still pretty small and doesn't draw too much attention.
Yeah. especially because like we have it on a tripod,
Mm-hmm.
like we feel like our camera would make people stare at us. But people can stare at us anyway if they want to stare, because like I
Yeah.
say, most people probably never see a black person in real life before. Depending on the country you go to. Turkey, we didn't have a staring issue at all.
No.
Like they just was chill, you know what I mean?
And then most of the fears and opinions you may have are probably misconceptions coming from the Western side of the world
Who never even been there.
who as it relates to places in Europe, just going based off
Yeah.
of media and what they've heard.
Yeah. Especially like being Bahamians. I don't know, like Bahamians are scary, man. Like I feel like especially like the older generations in the Grammys, if you tell them you're going to Vietnam, some of them will be like, and they at war. You know what I mean? Like it's a certain level of ignorance, and not trying to not trying to be rude or anything or disrespectful, but like honestly, a certain level of ignorance. You'll have people who never went to a country before,
Mhm.
and they'll be telling you not to go because it's dangerous.
And they just go on based on that. They didn't do their own research, nothing.
Yeah, so you have to. A really good tip to do is watch a lot of YouTube videos on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Watch a lot of YouTube videos. Try to find other black travelers
Mhm.
to watch so you can get their perspective. You know what I mean? Because it's very different. It is very different traveling the world as a black person versus a white person. Because
Especially solo too if you're a female.
yeah, because we're not necessarily the ideal tourist that certain countries looking for. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They want the white travelers who they feel have a lot of money, when usually the white travelers be spending way less than us because they're like pros at frugal travel. But you know, certain countries just look at it as the white people have more money, so they'll be like the ideal tourists in a lot of places. So as a black person, honestly, just go in with an open mind, ready to have fun. Hey, Jamila.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say
Jamila's a really good a really good traveler to follow too on Instagram. She went to
definitely.
And Jamila was another reason why we wanted to go to Turkey,
Mhm.
because we were looking at how Turkey content.
She helped us out a lot too in different places to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of places Jamila went to that we trying to go to, but definitely find other black travelers, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on Instagram. Janelle is a good one too.
Yeah.
Everybody who we reference, we'll try to leave in the description box.
Yeah.
Janelle is she's a black solo traveler, and she posts a lot of content on Instagram as well. So I'll share everybody who I could think of who you could follow. And once you see them doing it, you'll feel a lot more confident to do it. But once you take your first
Energy is a
trip,
solo traveler too.
yeah, energy for sure. We'll leave her information down below too. She's a YouTuber, and she's on Instagram. But once you take your first trip, you'll be good. Once
Yeah.
you see how it is when you actually get out there, you'll be a lot more comfortable. Jamila says she heading to Italy in December.
Or
Let's
she
meet
probably
up.
thought he was meaning. I don't know if she's confused about when we've been to Italy or.
Oh, any city suggestions? Listen, I wish I could be in Italy right now, honey. Any
Pos-
city suggestions? We went
Positano
to
looked good.
yeah, we went to Rome.
We went to Rome, Venice. We
And
took
Florence.
a bus to Pisa
hmm
for a few hours, and then we came back.
Florence was our favorite for sure. But it depends on the person too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like Rome may be better for you because you like to do more of like sightseeing. Rome has a lot. Everyone in Italy have a lot to see, but Rome have a lot to see and do. So Rome may be the best for you. Probably spend more time in Rome, and then Florence is really good. It's like chill vibes. Venice is really good too, but we didn't stay on the island side. We stayed like on the city side, and then we would take a bus every day to like the island side that everybody know of, and that's how we save a lot too. Um, but yeah, we need to meet up soon, Jamila,
For
in
sure.
one of these countries.
Do you think that the
COVID
COVID
protocols
protocols
are
are
heightened
heightened
more
more
abroad
abroad
or
or
back
back home?
home. They kind of like as it relates to COVID protocols. It depends on the country. So, like in Turkey at the time, because remember this is still like when things were like iffy with travel and with COVID or whatever.
So wasn't there much information out
Mm-mm.
back then, and it
We
wasn't
didn't
that
even
much
need a
first-hand
test.
experience.
You didn't even need a test to travel back then. You
No.
know, the only place who needed a test was home,
hmm
really. Everywhere else, we didn't really need a test to travel. So it was different back then, you know?
Mhm.
And then at the time, it was like when the lockdown was first happening. So it was different. But now, especially like Eastern Europe, it's like it don't exist. You don't have to wear a mask outside. It's like chill. You almost don't even remember that COVID is a
Yeah,
thing.
when we were in Romania, it felt
Very normal.
very, very normal.
The only time you had to wear a mask was like on public
Public
transportation
transportation.
and like inside a building, like when we
Mhm.
went to the mall and stuff like that. But for the most part, like in Romania, you're doing stuff out and about. Like
Mhm.
you walking around Old Town or you going to the mountains. Like it's very, you don't really go to Romania to like go in the malls all day. So for the most part, everything you'll be doing
It'll be something like sightseeing or
is like
pertaining to
outside.
nature. Yeah.
So it'll feel like you never wearing a mask other than
Mhm.
like on your ride there or on your ride home.
Mhm.
So that was really good. But
And
of course, we always washing our hands. We always walk with our
sanitizer.
bag
Mhm.
with all our COVID utensils,
Mhm.
extra mask in case our mask drop on the floor. Dario was dropping his mask.
I wouldn't say that, but it felt great too to especially coming from places where we would constantly have to wear our masks to not wear it as much. It
Especially
felt
because it
great.
was the summer.
Yeah.
Man, that was so good. In the mountains too, where the air feels so
Fresh.
fresh and crisp.
Hmm.
That was everything. But I'd say with now it kind of funny. It depends on where you go in. Like certain countries, and it depends on if you're vaccinated too.
Yeah.
Like certain countries, once you're vaccinated, that's all you need. You could
Mhm.
go into restaurants and do whatever. But for the most part, everywhere still have a mask mandate for indoors.
Mm.
They just starting to like get rid of the mandates for outside, from what
Mhm.
I could understand.
I didn't even-
Oh, Chris is saying bye. He probably already left.
Yeah.
But happy that you're in here, Chris.
Yeah, it was great to hear from you.
Jamie said the price in the US are going crazy now.
Gas.
Gas is more than $3 some places now. So that makes the I just was looking up on like the gas crisis on like food shortages, which
Mhm.
in y'all, everybody who on here start to like stock up on some food
Mhm.
because they're talking about food shortages. So
It's definitely coming.
that's definitely a high possibility,
And if
especially
you
because of and a lot of shortages too with what's happening in the LA ports and the New York ports where you just have hella cargo ships just
backed up.
backed up out in the ocean just waiting to come up to the port. They're not sure like hey Tanya, they're not sure if things are gonna be there by Christmas. Honestly, my prediction is after Christmas, things may get crazy again, you know? So if you can start to slowly, every
Stock
time
up
you
on
go to
your
the
bottled
store,
water, your non-perishables.
yeah,
If you have space in your yard, or if you can pair up with 2 or 3 people to get a little plot, nothing crazy, but a little plot where you can start to grow
throw
your
some
own
stuff. Yeah.
produce and be self-sufficient, because the food shortage is definitely coming, so you don't want it to hit you by surprise.
Yeah. So if you can't do much, every time you go to the store, get a little bag of rice, a bag of beans or something, like Darian say, find a good way to get clean water.
Hmm.
That's the scary part for us here. Like we could always stock up on food because food's so affordable here, but the water, you can't do nothing with the tap water at all.
No.
So excuse me, if we decide to stay in Mexico longer when we get back, we may buy some more like 5-gallon
Definitely have to
waters.
buy more.
Because we only have two. And if you have to do everything with good water, like we have to wash all our veggies and stuff with good water,
Hmm.
it goes pretty quick. You have to cook with good water, it's different.
Hmm.
So for sure, like the way how we see in certain signs that it about to get a little crazy again as it relates to like shortages
Hmm.
around the world. It's happening now in other countries. I've
Yeah.
been doing my research yesterday, Charles. But yeah, like places like Lebanon, they're ready, don't have no gas, don't have no electricity. So what what going on in the ports in the States, just be prepared. And how you see the gas going up too, be very prepared for everything else to go up in price and then the shortages because people are about to start panicking again.
Hmm. Because there's a lot of load shedding, and with them having to reduce the gas intake to conserve what they have, it means less hours for people working on those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So that means less money coming into that household.
Yeah, just be prepared. Be prepared. It's kind of hard being a full-time traveler to say prepare something because we
Mhm.
don't necessarily like know that we'll be in a place for 6 months per se to
Yeah.
say like stock up on food, because like let's say we come back from Florida and stock up on food and we end up leaving when our rent is up, like in, I think we have like 2 or 3 weeks left when we come back on our rent.
Mhm.
If we end up leaving, then it's like, so we can't really do much. But if you in a place where you're stationary and you could start to put a little bit aside just in case, like
Mhm.
you don't have to do nothing crazy, just a little something something. Definitely do that. Which country is the top of your travel list? You mean going to visit, or like, I guess to visit, when you say travel list, to visit, or we been before? I think that's
No,
lesser.
I mean to visit, I think.
Mm, top country. I don't know. Since travel changed for me, a lot of countries I was like hot up to go to. I ain't really hot up for no more. Like I
Mhm.
used to be hot up to go to like Bali or Thailand or whatever. And like for me, it changes. Like sometimes I want to go to South America. Sometimes I want to go back to Europe, kind of thing. You know.
I don't
Yours
know.
used to be Dubai before we started traveling.
Yeah, it was really hard to buy for a long time.
Yeah, Darren one used to be Dubai. But
Um.
I'd say I think we should go to Dubai. I think we should
Mhm.
go to Dubai. Not because we hot up to go. It's strange how we pick the places to go because I still don't know how we end up in Romania.
Mhm.
We'd be watching videos on YouTube and we may see a country that someone went to and it may look really interesting, and we do some research and see like it's affordable or it's easy to get there,
The typical
and then
cost of
we'll
living
go.
there, or
Yeah.
what's there to do, and restrictions or whatever.
So our travels haven't really been planned like that. It's just been like, it's almost like something leading us to where we need to go next.
Mhm.
And like we don't feel it until we feel it. That's kind of how I am right now. I don't know where I want to go next, or I don't have no feeling to be like, oh, I really want to go here other than Turkey.
Or we have a general idea
Yeah.
of the area we want to go in, then we'll see what places open in the area. If people have any videos on the area on YouTube,
Recent
recent
videos.
videos, the typical cost of living, day to day life there, and then we'll just go from there. Then
Yeah.
we look into tickets and what we need to enter the country or whatever.
hmm Portugal was also a big one that we wanted to go
Yeah,
to. Portugal's
Portugal.
still pretty high on our list
Yeah,
because
and you say you wanted to go to
Portugal is a good place to live.
Peru, I think, recently.
Yeah, I really want to go to like Peru, Chile, Bolivia, because it's
Hmm.
so beautiful. But I don't know because it's still fairly new to them being open like this,
Hmm.
and how they closed last time. I don't want us to go and then they close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like funny right now. I'd say honestly probably Dubai because Dubai been pretty open.
Hmm.
Um, but Portugal is definitely some a place that we want to go to, mainly because all the research we did in terms of like moving there, and we have friends in Portugal too that we could
Hmm.
probably visit. So I'd say for now Portugal, but it's definitely not like the next place we plan on going
No.
to. I don't think we'll go to the Schengen zone for a minute because it's pretty pricey.
So like I say, I just wish that the
Airfare,
airfare from the Caribbean to Europe was a little more affordable.
me too.
I agree.
You
Well,
could get lucky from like Mexico, like Cancun. You could get lucky and get a
mhm.
cheap flight to like Germany,
and then
and then get like a $20 flight anywhere else in Europe.
what you could do is purchase your flights separately with a
Yeah,
connection.
that's what I
So
used
purchase
to,
a flight from wherever you are in the Caribbean to the States,
and find a
then
cheap place from there.
then probably from the States to somewhere in London, then London to your end destination, or
So
whatever the case is.
a really good trick is, let's say you want to go somewhere, right? And you live in the Caribbean. Try to get to the States, and once you get to the States, if you go on Skyscanner,
Mhm.
type in United States to where you want to go.
Anywhere.
Like let's say you want to go to Madrid, it'll show you the cheapest place to fly from.
Hmm.
So like that's what we did. We type in, I think we type in like United States to Turkey or
Hmm.
whatever, and the cheapest place to fly from was New York. So we got like a $30 ticket from Fort Lauderdale to New York
Hmm.
to hop on the flight. That's how you save money. Like if you could get to that state, that's the cheapest state to fly from, which is usually New York most of the time.
Yeah.
If you could just look at tickets from New York to other places, and you could always get a cheap flight from um, Florida because that's usually the closest to the Caribbean. to New York to hop on a cheap flight to, like, let's say, I think you said Madrid. Already have a flight booked for Madrid April next year. That's good. I have no fare there, but I want to venture into places like Romania and the Balkans, but I'm a little nervous. Honestly, I feel a lot safer in the Balkans than I
Mhm.
feel like in the Schengen area.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you don't really hear that much from the Balkans.
Mm.
Like, people who visit the Balkans, they always end up liking it and they always feel really safe. You don't hear, like, even with pickpocket,
Mm.
you don't hear that as a big issue or people going missing or nothing like that.
Mm.
The Balkans, it may sound more dangerous, but honestly, it feel more safe, and also because people just minding their business. I feel more in the Schengen zone, you have to deal with like the pickpocket or the people who target in tourists. So, but yeah, I feel safe in the Balkans.
Yeah, I feel the Balkans have a big like expat and backpacker community
That
there,
too, yeah.
and then it's easier. I mean, it's still fairly easy to go to a lot of places in the Schengen area, but the Balkans haven't been closed since they opened back up. So
Yeah.
you could hit Albania,
Montenegro.
Herzegovina, Bosnia,
Hmm.
Montenegro.
I was watching an energy video in Montenegro and
Hmm.
yesterday, and I mean, we want to go to Montenegro tomorrow.
It
Like,
looks really scenic
we
there.
feel like for sure when we go to Europe again, it'll either be Turkey or like in the Balkan area because
Mhm.
it's kind of like stable. The Schengen zone, you may end up there and they end up closing or something end up changing, but the Balkans been fairly open and easy to get to. And then, like Darren say, it's a lot of expats there, so
Mhm.
you also feel a little more safer when it's like a lot of travelers or expats gravitate to a certain area because that's like a good sign. But yeah, I don't have no fare. It's good that you don't have any fare, and I'm happy that you booked your ticket
I was just
already.
gonna say, yeah,
Yeah, keep us what's the word? Keep
updated.
us updated on your trip. Yeah, April
And
will come
you,
fast.
and
April will
usually,
come fast.
usually when you feel something, when you feel in fear or something like that, but then you still have a strong urge or pull to
Desire,
go,
go.
buying a ticket is the first step because at
Yeah,
least you know you locked in. You know you can't cancel without paying a fee.
yeah.
So that's
Watch
your
a lot of
first step
YouTube
to
videos too.
continue on that path.
Watch a lot of YouTube videos and probably look at going to another part of Spain where there's a quick little train somewhere else.
Hmm.
And once you start to make those kind of decisions, then traveling will be a lot easier for you. Like, it's a very mental thing, and I find that that's how we
Yeah,
get stuck sometimes in certain places. Like, we may end up getting comfortable in the capital and not end up going to all the little towns we want to go to.
yeah.
If you just like sometimes don't even think about it and just go, you'd be so happy that you did that. You know what I mean? As opposed to
Mhm.
like sit down and talk yourself out of it.
Yeah. Or allow someone else to talk you out of it.
Yeah, for sure. But Madrid, you could find cheap flights from Madrid to Romania because that's where we stopped. We stopped in
Hmm.
Madrid. Madrid? Yeah, we stopped in
Yeah.
Madrid on our way to Romania because we found a cheap flight from. Listen, I don't play with these tickets. I all I did was I found a cheap flight from the U.S. to the Schengen zone because I knew I could find a cheap flight from the Schengen zone to another part of Europe.
Hmm.
So the cheapest flight was like New York to Spain. I think it's like 200 ish,
Hmm.
and then that was in Spain just open too for well, we weren't vaccinated, but we benefited from the cheap tickets. And then we laid over in Madrid and took a cheap flight to Romania. I book all the flights separately too. Um, Thanks for the tips. Yes,
If
I
it's
watch Energy
if
too.
it's if it's anyone who could find tickets or a deal, it's
Me,
Zanya.
me, me.
Where are you guys
Hey
from?
Tanya.
Hey
Oh,
Tanya.
we didn't answer Tanya. Did she say something else? Oh,
No.
she just said, "Hey, Darren and Zanya. This is
Tanya,
Tanya.
where are you guys going next? If you don't mind me asking.
We're gonna meet up with Mommy in Florida.
Hmm.
And honestly, we don't know if we'll end up staying in Mexico until after the
Excuse me.
winter. And then probably going to the Balkan area. If things are the same as they are now, then which it may not be, but for the most part, we know the Balkan area will be open.
Hmm.
We may head back to Europe after winter, but honestly, I don't know. I just can't see myself staying here until March, April. That seems
Yeah,
kind of
until then.
far
But we may hop around to different places in Mexico.
in Mexico, or we may
If
go to
not,
like
try to
Costa
go.
Rica.
try to go to some places in South America.
Yeah, I'd say for me, on my list right now, mentally, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia. I kind of intimidated by Colombia and Brazil. I don't know why. I just have that
Brazil out of the question for me.
intimidation. Yeah.
You don't even got to ask.
Brazil out of the question mainly because how last year, this year too, a lot of the countries stopped people from traveling from Brazil because that was where the Delta virus was at first, right?
I
The
think so.
Delta strain
It
was
was
like
one of the first places there, South Africa, and somewhere else, I think.
So they were locking people who were traveling from those places for a while, so we just avoided. But I'd say Costa Rica, Panama, or Colombia. Or I may go on Janelle page and watch some of her, like look at some of her content to figure out the next place. Or Europe, honestly. We may go to Europe again. But we don't know yet, Tanya. In other words.
We're not too
We're
sure
not
yet.
too sure.
So
We
stay
still
tuned.
yeah, we're trying to see like where the spirit leads us to go to next. So we don't regret leaving and then be like, oh, we should have stayed in Mexico.
And then too, we also have to take into consideration that various travel restrictions and countries opening and closing can change in the blink of an eye. So we may have plans to go somewhere, and within the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, that may change.
Yeah.
Because of what they have going on and how the cases are there. So it's all up in the air right now.
It's been safe for us to like go to countries that have been fairly open the whole time, like the Balkans, Mexico, Turkey. You know what I mean? Like those are countries that didn't like completely shut down. We feel more comfortable as opposed to like going to places that were probably shut down the whole time and probably just starting to open again. But when we know, we'll let y'all know for sure.
Yeah.
Where are you guys from? We're from the Bahamas. Are you not afraid to visit some of these countries as a Black tourist? No, not at all, really.
No.
I don't never feel fair going to I'd say in the past I used to feel fair going to like Brazil and Colombia, mainly because how the media paint those countries, you know what I mean? They always paint those as dangerous. I was never afraid to go to Mexico. I know a lot of Americans are afraid to go to Mexico because the reputation is different if you're in the States, but being someone who's not from the US, we never had that feeling with towards Mexico. But I can't say I have ever felt afraid.
Me either.
Never, honestly. And then too, like you have to understand, not to say we shouldn't be afraid as Black travelers, but I feel like there are other issues you would experience other than like danger as a Black traveler. Like you also have to worry about people treating you different, or people ignoring you when you go in the store, or people staring at you, or people taking pictures of you, or people
touching you,
trying to touch your hair,
or touching your hair.
Yeah, like I feel like you have to worry about more of that as opposed to like feeling like someone coming to attack you. Yeah, we definitely feel more comfortable traveling than we feel in the States. Because I ain't gonna lie, like sometimes when I go to the States and I go in Walmart, I think about like how the Walmart that was close to my auntie's old house that we always used to go to, there was a mass shooting. Or like the Fort Lauderdale airport that we always fly into, there was a mass shooting. So like when I go to the States, I kind of have to worry about that as opposed to these other countries. Like they don't really look at Black travelers as travelers with a lot of money, you know what I mean, to say they're expecting us to be rich to come and rob us.
So we wouldn't necessarily be targets.
We wouldn't be their type. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel that's why we don't feel afraid. So if you're a white traveler, it may be different, you know what I mean? It may definitely be different, especially in Mexico, because they look at like white travelers different than like Black travelers. Like they have their reservations with like gringos, essentially white travelers.
But Black or white solo female traveler traveling here in Mexico, I'd still say just always be alert and aware of your surroundings and what's going on and the type of people around you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For real.
You don't want to put yourself in danger or in a a situation where you have to fight for your life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So always be aware of what's going on.
But be ready if you
Yeah.
gotta fight for your life.
If you gotta
too.
fight, then yeah, of course, be ready.
Don't scream. You're like, don't stand there and scream and be like, stop. Like,
Yeah.
you got. But I feel like, honestly, we have to worry about that less than other travelers because they're already looking at us like we don't have nothing that they want. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So the most we'll have to deal with is them, like not probably like ignoring us when we walk in the store, or like just not catering to us
Mhm.
per se. But we don't travel for them to cater to us anyway. We
Mhm.
travel more so to see what the country itself have to offer. But to say fearful, no, no. Also,
Sh-
how expensive is it to be traveling to places I could only dream of visiting?
Mhm.
It's not as expensive as we tell ourselves, for one,
Mhm.
that's for sure. And it's also relative. Like you could save you could spend a lot less than us, or you could spend a lot more than us.
Mhm.
For the most part, we try to be comfortable. And if my mommy on here, she'll probably be laughing. She know me like our apartment at least have to be clean. You know what I mean? There's certain things that we
Mhm.
want from
Certain things are
accommodation.
non-negotiable.
Yeah, like we don't want to walk into accommodation and feel nasty or
Mhm.
like roachy or whatever the case may be. You
Or
know what I
like
mean?
if we were to have a problem that it wouldn't be resolved
Yeah. So like
without a hassle.
we pay more, and not a crazy amount. We pay a little bit more to be comfortable. So when we're
Mhm.
looking on Airbnb, we ain't looking for the cheapest place because we know
We
from experience.
we know from experience what looking for the cheaper place or booking the cheapest place
Will
could
do
get,
you.
and
Every time we stay in the
it ain't no good feeling.
every time we book the cheapest place, and
Left every time.
we'd be like, oh, we can manage. It's always worse than the look in the pictures.
Didn't
So
work out not once.
we usually willing to spend a little bit more on
Mhm.
accommodation, and then because it's two of us,
Mhm.
it's usually cheaper to stay in an Airbnb than a hostel. So if you're a solo traveler, you may be able to save money by staying in a hostel.
Mhm.
And then also with us, we like to cook when we travel because we travel in long term.
Yeah.
So we'd spend more in the grocery store than the average person because we're doing a full grocery shop,
Mhm.
because if we feel like eating pizza, we could try to make pizza home. Like I'll be baking banana bread.
Mhm.
We'll be making Bahamian food. We'll be making curry, sauce. You know what I mean? I baking Johnny bread.
Mhm.
So for us, we spend a little bit more on grocery too. But if you're really trying to save money, we could definitely save a lot more money than we spend.
Mhm.
But because we know we want it to be sustainable for us, um and we know we're doing this long term, we pay a little bit extra for certain comforts so we could
Mhm.
feel at home in every place we go to.
And then too, based on your style of travel and what you look for out of traveling, you always have resources like
Work away,
Workaway, World Parkers,
house sitting.
house sitting, where you can trade your services for a free stay. On Workaway, you can work at a hostel at the front desk or just
Yeah.
assisting them in the kitchen area or whatever, checking people in. And in turn, you get a free stay, you get free food, and then sometimes you may even get paid a little stipend.
Yeah, so like the most expensive part of traveling is accommodation.
Hmm.
And if you could figure out how to minimize that, you could.
You
Like
have more money that you
you
could
could
allocate.
definitely manage with food.
You have more money that you can allocate towards an activity or towards food, or if you see something that you want to pick up, a souvenir or
Yeah.
something like that,
The
you'll have
main
more
thing
money
is
to
the
do that.
accommodation because you
Yeah.
could wait until you find a cheap ticket to get there.
Hmm.
But accommodation is definitely the most expensive. And like we said, you could do work away. You could probably work 2 hours at a hostel front desk or
Hmm.
work the breakfast line, and you
Hmm.
stay there for free and you have the whole day to explore.
Hmm.
Or like we did work away in Romania.
Yeah.
That was good. We did work away in Romania and
Up in Sanaya.
Sanaya in the mountains.
Hmm.
We stayed with a family. We helped them over their kids. They had 3 kids,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
it
they stayed
worked
there
out
for
for
like a
us.
weekend.
It worked out for us because the kids' godfather was there at the same time visiting,
Hmm.
so it wasn't much for us to do because he was helping us a lot.
Yeah.
And they were comfortable with him, so he made it a lot easier on us. And we stayed there for
8 or 9 days.
I want to say like 10 days for free.
I don't think it was so long.
9ish, 8ish days for
Yeah.
free. We had our own room.
Yeah.
Like that saved us a lot of money.
Yeah. And we just have to take them to school, pick them up from school, and then
Take
take
them
them
to the
to the park afterwards. So it wasn't nothing
That was it.
crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's definitely a lot of resources out there, but even if you don't want to do any of those, if you can look on like booking.com or stay in a hostel.
Mm-hmm.
And I know staying on a hostel sound crazy right now, but you'd be surprised. Like our hostel experience in Venice was amazing. And then I have a friend who stayed in a hostel here in Tulum. I have a friend who stayed in a hostel in the same friend she stayed in a hostel in Guatemala,
Mm-hmm.
like during COVID, and she was fine because they take in certain precautions. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
we stayed in a hostel in Serbia during COVID. Um, so yeah, there's always a way to get it more affordable and
Mm-hmm.
based on your comfort level. If you know you need a nice place, then you know you have to spend less on food. If you know food is your thing, then you may be able to, or you know you're about to be sightseeing all day anyway. You could probably stay in a cheaper accommodation that wouldn't bother you
Just
as much.
you won't be there much anyway. Only
Yeah.
to sleep and
But for us, we know if we stay in accommodation, we stay in there a lot. We work in there, you know what I mean? So we like to have a nicer place since we're spending so much time there.
Yeah.
Someone wants to know how could they travel like you with a
I think
limited
you already answered
budget? Yeah, same. Because we had a limited budget too. Because for y'all who don't know, we save, and then we travel off of savings. So we have to make our savings last as long as possible. Oh, also picking the places you travel to, like the place you travel to, staying and going to more affordable countries than others, and making it work. Yeah, like that's why we went to Romania instead of Italy. You know what I mean? Because like at the time, the accommodations in Italy were like $1,200 to rent a room for a month, whereas in Romania we could rent a whole apartment for probably like $800. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about like nicer apartment in Romania, whereas in Italy is like the cheapest room you could find. So it's the same as like if you go into the States and you want to save money, you probably wouldn't go to New York. You know what I mean? If you have to pay for your own accommodation. So that's also a really good tip. How many US dollars would you say would be enough to pack up and live in Mexico? It depends because
Yeah, it really
like
depends.
Will
you be alone? Are you traveling with a significant other? A
what
whole
part of
an
Mexico?
entire family? The part of Mexico? What you be doing while you're here?
If it's only you and you staying in like Puebla or Oaxaca, pretty affordable. Like we have a friend in Oaxaca now, her rent is like $400 a month, and I come with everything.
So I'd say anywhere between $600 to $700 a month for
Yeah,
one person.
for
That'll cover
sure.
rent, food, and an activity every so often
Yeah,
per month.
like Quintana Roo is like one of the most expensive parts of Mexico, other than like Sayulita and Puerto Escondido area. And even for here in Tulum, where it's pretty expensive, we probably spend $1,000 a month between the two of us for everything. So, and that's considered luxury in Mexico. Like I said, we have a friend staying in Oaxaca. Her rent is $400. Food is very affordable. You know what I mean? Like transportation is very affordable. So I'd say like you could make do with 600 in certain places. Comfortably, probably 800. In more expensive places, probably like 1,000 a month.
Yeah. And then that would depend on if you cooking your own meals or if you are eating out for the most part.
Yeah. Let me get some more water. You could find the next question.
Yeah.
So you can tell them to look at our Romania video too. Also on the video. Tell them a little insight.
Yeah, we recently put up cost of living after being in Romania for 1 month. So to give you guys a average idea of what a month would be like for us. Sorry?
For day-to-day costs too.
Yeah, for day-to-day costs as well. As our other expenses in terms of transportation, entertainment, rent. You can check out that Romania cost of living video. So living massive.
Yeah. And we plan to do a cost of living video on every other place we go to. So we'll definitely do one after we leave Tulum. To give you all an idea how much travel costs. and you could always spend less than we spend because, like we say, we don't deny ourselves as much when it comes to groceries, and we try to pick comfortable accommodation. So you could always spend less than what we spend for sure. Okay, I'll be visiting Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Merida for 3 weeks in December to January. That should be really interesting. We really like Playa because we like the food there.
Mhm.
We've been taking like day trips to Playa. We stayed 2 days at one point.
Mhm.
We definitely going back to Playa though. We may even try to stay there for a month, depending on if we can find a affordable accommodation.
Yeah.
And we may travel the area if we end up staying in Mexico for the whole winter.
Mhm.
What's your opinion on Merida? We haven't been to Merida, but we hear it's super
I
hot.
think that's a pack from me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do too.
Airbnb host from Merida,
Yeah, Merida is very hot, so be very prepared.
but it's
A different kind of humid heat. Yeah,
it's authentically Mexican.
Mexican.
We've heard a
I
lot
think
of
they
great
say it's the
things about
safest
it.
part of Mexico too.
Is it?
Yeah,
We've heard a lot of great things about it in terms of food and culture.
yeah. I want to go, but mine ain't scared of the heat because Playa was so hot too when we used to go to Playa.
Mhm.
And if they say Merida, way hotter. But yeah, it's Merida's really affordable. Cancun is really affordable too. But definitely be careful in Cancun.
Yeah.
Cancun different. Like probably try to stay in the hotel area and like be really aware when you in
And
Cancun.
even so, if you're staying in a hotel area, be very vigilant
Yeah,
when
Cancun.
you coming back or leaving in the nighttime.
Yeah, Cancun different. Just be aware. You could be fine probably, but just have extra precaution in Cancun. Mineral supply will come in Merida. It'll be chill.
So,
Hey, Brittany.
mhm.
So Colombia isn't a scary place to visit. We haven't been yet, but from the people who we know who've actually been, no, they make it seem like it's nothing for real.
Yeah.
Like we know people who've been to Colombia and Brazil, the places that I've been more like, I don't
And we've
know.
met some people from Colombia too here
Oh yeah.
at this Airbnb.
hmm So based on what everybody else tell us who's actually been there, not at all. So we'll have to experience it for ourselves, and we'll definitely share our feelings when we
Yeah.
get there. It's just a mental thing for me. I just have to go that kind of way. I just have to go. I'm sure I'll be fine. Because even Janelle been there.
Mhm. We'll
Yeah.
give all our first impressions versus
hmm
expectations or opinions that were out there.
Yeah. Janelle would be a good person to follow. I'll leave, like we said, we leave her information in the description box. She went to all those places. She went to El Salvador, Guatemala, Colombia, Brazil,
Mhm.
Honduras, I think. All the places that you kind of hear people try to avoid, she went to, and she had a really good
She's a
time.
black female solo traveler.
Yeah, she went by herself. She black, she young. So, and she had really good experiences in all of those places. So we just have to go. So we probably force ourselves to go when we come back from Florida after our rent is up. We probably
Mhm.
just book a ticket, so we have to go.
Yeah.
I wonder if mommy watching that. She said she's gonna watch it from the TV. Let me see, did she message me? Oh, let's let her message me. Yeah, so any other questions y'all have? Was anything else we were supposed to talk about, Boo?
How we changing the way we travel from
Oh
slow travel.
yeah. Let me look at what we said we were gonna talk about in this live. Thank you all so much for asking the questions. We weren't sure if people would even show up or if they would ask questions at all. Um, let's see. What is live supposed to be about? But like Darren said, we were gonna talk about how we changing the way we travel. That's a very big portion of it. So after traveling for a year, we decided that we're still gonna slow travel, but not as slow as we did, or we would avoid getting comfortable in one part of a country. So what
Yeah.
would happen is we go to a country, we'd end up in an Airbnb for a month because that's how you get huge discounts.
Hmm.
But then we get stuck, like we get comfortable there, and like let's say we go into a country for 3 months. After that first month, just because we get so acclimated to the capital, we would be more hesitant to go to other places, or we'd put it off. Like if we know we wanted to go to another town, we just wouldn't go in a way. So
I don't think that was because we just didn't want to go. It was knowing that we would have to pay for Airbnb again.
yeah,
And since he ain't staying for long, it would be a couple
more
$100
expensive. Yeah,
that wouldn't really be necessary. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Maybe it was the same money towards a ticket to go to another country.
So for us, we plan on, if we go to a country, visiting more towns in that country. So it's very easy to stay for a month because, like we say, you get a huge discount with Airbnb. But now that we know to use Booking, if we go into a place for a few days, we could make it work because on Booking.com we could probably get a hotel for $25 and it'll be fine because we only there for a few days, so we don't have to cut, So now that we know about using Booking instead of Airbnb, we'd go through, because think about it, if you could stay in a place for, let's say for the month, you pay $800, you aren't trying to pay $100 a day. You know what I mean? Like, so for a week, you paying what you'd be paying for a month. Like that's how we used to look at it. But that was because we were relying on Airbnb. But now that we know about Booking.com, when we travel again, we'll be planning out going to other little towns to show y'all, and we'll just stay in hotels for the places we only gone to for a couple of days.
And just sprinkling in a couple activities
Yeah.
here and there, apart from going to a co-working space or a coffee shop,
Yeah.
and showing you guys how it is there in terms of the internet speed and everything like that, being a nomad in these places. So we just sprinkle in a few activities, travel to a few cities and places in the area,
Yeah.
by bus, by train, by plane, showing you different means of travel in these countries to the different areas.
Now that we know what we know now, if we knew then in Romania what we know now, we would have went to a lot of different like little towns and actually show y'all like what the countryside looks like and
We
all of
probably would
that.
actually rent a car, really.
Yeah, and rent a
And
car
go on
because it was
that
so cheap too.
Transfigurian, I think it's called.
Yeah, like it was so
It's
cheap to
just
rent a car.
yeah.
But we definitely will go back and redo it. We'll do the places that we wanted to go to but didn't go to because the Airbnb was so expensive. Now that we know we could just stay in a hotel for a lot cheaper, we'll do like a real road trip Airbnb. We'll road trip Romania next time.
What was your favorite place that you traveled to?
Turkey.
Yeah, Turkey.
Turkey was our favorite place so far. Mexico has been our like Mexico and Turkey are like the two places we always think about when we're in other countries. Like if we need a break or we want a homey feeling, we think about Mexico and Turkey. They're like our top two, and Italy is also like top of my list. So top three, Italy, Mexico, and Turkey. But when you take into consideration the Turkish people and the Turkish culture, Turkey is number one for me.
Sonia especially is always missing the fruits here in Mexico.
Yeah, but this time they don't really have that much fruit.
Because it's a different time of year.
Yeah. So now when I go to the next place, I wouldn't be like, oh, I want to go to Mexico because I want mangoes.
Until we're in the Balkans in the springtime and it's mango and rambutan season and she's craving those.
Yeah, no.
Are you able to find all of the basics when preparing meals? And what are some of the things you both cook while traveling? It's difficult to find some things that you're used to in terms of, especially with seasonings.
We've been traveling with our curry, remember? We were
Yeah.
traveling with our curry, so
Yeah. It's difficult to find some seasonings, and then
y'all hear us?
if you can still hear us and see us, just put a thumbs up.
It went away. Let me talk slow. I think, can y'all hear us?
If you can hear us and see us, just put a thumbs up.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't know. Our internet tripping right now.
It's saying unstable.
Okay. Yeah, our internet a little unstable, so
Is it a bit of a lag, or can you hear us just fine?
Mommy says she's watching us. And Graham also. Hey Mommy, hey Graham.
Hey Graham.
I don't know.
Hey.
Oh, it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Graham. I don't know if you're still
Happy
watching.
birthday.
Let me see. Okay, you say you can still hear us. So in terms of like finding food basics, we just been missing our grits, and it's kind of hard to travel with grits because we travel light with the carry-on that take up space. So other than that, we've been cooking a lot of stuff. We've been cooking curry, Darren been cooking curry, sauce. Um,
Curry sauce, steamed chicken, steamed pork chop. I do a lot of Asian inspired stuff. So
yeah,
sweet and sour chicken, sweet and sour tofu,
when
stir
we could
fry udon
bake,
noodles, stir fry rice,
barbecue chicken.
barbecue chicken.
So our staple meals are like curry, curry chicken with white rice, either coleslaw or like corn, or
Hmm.
if we're in Mexico, plantain, because we can find plantain easy.
Hmm.
Um, barbecue chicken with either rice or mashed potato.
Hmm. And when
Um,
we had the oven,
oh, when we have the oven, if we have an oven, we do a lot more.
baked chicken,
Yeah,
salmon,
I always make
vegetables.
I always make banana bread if we have an oven.
Hmm.
Anytime Darren does sauce, which we do a lot, because if you think about it, it's pretty simple ingredients. We could always find chicken. We could always find limes.
Hmm.
If anything, we can't find
Whole
the
allspice.
allspice, but we may travel with it next time.
Yeah.
And we travel in with curry. Period.
Hmm.
Everywhere we go. So when we go to Florida, we get in some more curry, and you could always get a little packet of allspice. We'll travel with that because we could always find lime. We could always find chicken, water, carrot, potato. So once we have those, we could always make curry. And if we have an oven, I'll always do Johnny bread because easy. We could always find those ingredients.
And then too, I'd say with not finding the stuff that you're used to, it can be
A good
bad
thing.
because you can't have
Oh,
what you used to. But then on the flip side, it'll kind of encourage you more to
try something
use,
else.
try something else and use what you have available to you, and you could add that to your resume.
Sorry.
You know what I mean?
Like how we did polenta instead of grits. We were
Hmm.
able to get the consistency right just by playing around with it. You know what I mean?
And then just using different spices. Like when we were in Turkey, I knew about sumac,
Mm-hmm.
which is a spice typical in like Middle Eastern cuisine. So I was able to use that a lot more and really get a handle on it. And cooking Turkish rice. So they use
Very
baldo,
different rice.
baldo
Yeah.
rice over there, and they use orzo, and they mix it in with the rice as well.
The
And
Turkish rice, the rice is the main thing in Turkey. We couldn't
mhm,
really find regular rice that we used to unless we went to like a specialty store.
mhm.
But yeah, we still manage. But for the most part, every country we cook curry, we cook chicken sauce, we cook barbecue chicken. We probably do videos on these dishes too for people who are not familiar with the Bahamian dishes.
And if you all want to see more cooking videos, y'all can let us know, and that's something that
Yeah,
we
mommy
can
always
work
telling
on.
us to do it. So
Yeah.
I could already hear you, mommy.
Mhm,
But we'll just incorporate it in our vlogs like we used to in
mhm.
Turkey. We just
Yeah.
incorporate more cooking so you could see how we cook in these countries because we don't be missing out no Bahamian meals, honey.
Mhm.
We
And
still
then
cook Bahamian meals or Asian meals if that's what we craving.
in Turkey, that was my first time using a Turkish oven, so
Yeah.
that was really good. I think it's in one of our Vlogmas videos. Can't
Yeah.
remember.
Their oven is like it's not like a regular, it's like a circular device, that's the best I could describe it, that sits on the floor and you plug it into a wall, to like a socket.
It's shaped kind of like a circular, like an ottoman with a set
Yeah.
on, and then you open the doors like a panel
From the side.
sideways.
And the temperature is set to 375, I think. I just Googled it. It's set to 375, so we knew how to like adjust our bacon.
Mm-hmm.
We have one last question. We've been visiting places like Romania, places that don't speak. Let me show y'all now on my phone. If you go on Google Translate, let's say, for example, you want to say something, you just type, you change it from English, you put English, and then you put it to the, you want to say it in. And let me turn my screen down a little bit. You could type it in, and then they have a button, like a speaker button on the side of it. And once you press it, it'll say it in the next language to the person.
Or you could press you could press the conversation button, and the person can speak in their language, and it'll translate for you to
To
English.
English. So that been helping us a lot. Like at
Mhm.
one point in the metro, when the metro took our money, we had a whole conversation on Google Translate just by, I would press the button and let them say it in the phone.
Mhm.
Google Translate would translate it for me, or I'll speak in the phone and then press the button and Google Translate would say it to them in their language. That
Mhm.
been the biggest help. So we never have an issue with like dealing with other languages.
And then two, I'd say for the most part, it's at least one person in an establishment that's fairly fluent in English.
Or
But
know
we
enough,
don't, yeah, or
yeah.
know enough to get by. We don't go to these places
Expecting.
expecting them to speak English and then mad when they can't speak English. When
Yeah.
you're in a foreign country and you don't bother to try to speak the language. You
And
know
like
what
I
I mean?
say, you don't even have to like, oh, thank you.
Thanks.
You don't even have to like speak it. Like I say, you could let Google speak for you. Let me
Yeah.
probably do like a demo. Like, let me type in how much does this cost? You literally don't have to say anything. Once you press enter and you press the what's the word, the speaker, it'll say.
¿Cuánto cuesta este?
So Google basically speaking for you. And when it's time for them to speak, you press a button, they speak into your phone, and Google will translate it to English for you. You could have full conversations like this. And it's definitely a lifesaver. It saved us a lot.
And then two, it helps with your pronunciation. If you're not sure how to say a word,
Yeah.
you could type it in there and just through practicing and through conversing with the locals, you will hear how they say it and then how it's pronounced on Google Translate, and all that will improve your pronunciation and your conversational
And you would
Spanish or
remember a
Turkish
lot.
or Romanian or wherever you are.
You'd remember a lot. Like for Turkey, we knew we would be there for 3 months.
Hmm.
So we made it a point to like remember at least the basics. Like hello, thank you, good morning,
Good
good
morning,
night.
good evening, good night, have a nice day, things like that.
By how much does this cost?
Mhm.
That's a big one, because they would just put they would type in the amount on a calculator and show you it. So that helps a lot. If you just learn like the basic greetings,
Mhm.
thank you,
Hello,
hello, how are you?
hello, how are you? In Turkish is Merhaba, nasılsın?
Yeah, so like learning certain things like that, or like if you're about to be there for a while, and then how much does this cost? Those could those could save you a lot. Or if you just learn with 1 and 2 means, because if you go in a restaurant, you want a coffee, like you could tell them one, or you could even just point or use gestures.
Mhm.
Yeah, but because we always get data in different countries, which is another key, because data is usually very affordable. Like in Romania, we paid €6 for 56 gigabytes.
Mhm.
So because of that, we know we could use Google Maps easily, and we could use Google Translate, which is like the two main things we need when traveling. So that's how we deal with like the language barrier. It's almost like not even a barrier because we have Google Translate.
Yeah.
Lissa also asked, do we familiarize ourselves with the country native language before we travel? We try to.
Yeah.
We try to, at least like we said, those basic phrases, and then like as you're there a little longer, you start to pick up a little more. So like let's
And
say
different local slang.
let's say for example, you always say hi, how are you? If you know you're about to be there for a while, you may learn what they may say back to you. You know what I mean? Or learn certain questions. Like we know they always gonna ask us where we're from. So we'll always learn that. So when they ask us, we know how to respond to them. So just learning little phrases could take you so far.
And then too, when I was starting to learn Turkish, after I would say, hello, how are you? Which is the Merhaba, nasılsın, they'll say, fine, thanks, how are you? And then I would learn how to say,
keep it going.
I'm good, thank you, which is ben harikayım, teşekkürler.
So that would send them crazy. Like if you say one phrase and they answer you and you answer them back, yo, they used to.
So I would
they used to
always,
be so excited.
they would always say, oh, your Turkish is good, where are you from? And then I have a tattoo here in Arabic, so they thought they would always ask, where are you from?
Yeah.
Are you an Arab? I said no.
Because Turkey, the number one tourist that visits Turkey is like Arab tourists. So a lot of that, if you go to Turkey, a lot of the signs, there'll be a lot of Arabic write-ins. It's not because they speak the language, it's because that's where the majority of their tourists from. Google Translate is awesome. Listen, if anything, we'd recommend. We did it in every country we visit. Even when we went to Italy for our vacation, we only went for 10 days or something. We still got the data. Like you need data at least for Google Maps, because Google Maps will help you get everywhere. And then Google Maps,
it also helps.
It's in depth. It's really in depth. So it's like if you want to go from here to the mall, it'll tell you exactly where to walk, which bus number you need to take, how long it should take. When you're on the bus, if you still have Google open, it'll tell you how much stops you have to pass, what stop to listen for, or it'll tell you like when you getting close to your stop for you to pull the thing. Like you could get anywhere on Google Translate, but it kills your battery. So we always have I didn't in a room charging. We always have portable charger because Google Maps kills your battery so fast. But always get data and use Google Maps and Google Translate, and that'll fix your transportation and like communication issues. So you wouldn't even have to worry about those.
And it's good too for when you're in a cab going somewhere that you know the exact route, or for the most part the direction you're supposed to be going in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because as you walk, it will show you if you're walking in the right direction. If you look at the blue thing and you turn, you would know like if you need to turn right or turn left or walk straight.
And that'll help you figure out if a cab is maybe trying to scam you and take a longer way or kidnap you.
Yeah, like when we got to Romania, we got back to Bucharest from the mountains. I want to say like our Airbnb was like less than a 5-minute drive. And the cab was trying to convince us that it was so far. Like I had Google Maps open and I'm showing him, it literally says like 3-minute drive. And he's like, oh yeah, that's so far. Like he's trying to convince us that in a whole other town, so he could charge us 100 when he's supposed to be charging us like 14.
What the currency was in Romania again?
Lei. So it's supposed to be like 100 lei. It's supposed to be like 14 lei. He's trying to charge us like 100 lei. So I'm like, no, thank you. we just caught the bus. But yeah, definitely Google Translate and Google Maps. A must.
Are your friends?
A must. And make sure you get data like on your first day, and you'll be good. You could always Google like what's the best data package for tourists in a certain place. Like they'll tell you which company. Like for Turkey, it was Turkcell. For Mexico, it's Telcel. And then for Romania, I can't remember, Orange or something like that. And for Italy, it's like Vodafone. So once you Google, it'll tell you what to expect to pay to. But for the most part, they've been really affordable and you get a lot of data.
Yeah, it's Orange.
Yeah, definitely. You can play around with it now that you're in your hometown. Like download Google Translate, type in something in English and press the button. And then press the speaker and see how it sounds to say certain things. And that's how you could learn certain greetings. Like we tell you, at least learn how to tell them hi, thank you, how much does this cost?
And then too, if you don't see a language on there, you can always download it. Because before we were going to Romania, I had to download Romanian on mine.
Yeah. Lifesavers, big time lifesavers. Oh, they even have a camera too. So like, let's say you go into a store or like
a menu,
a cafe, or you looking at the menu. If you go in the Google Translate app, it has a button that says camera, and if you point the camera at the thing, it will translate it on the picture. So that's how we learn how to use the washing machine in all our places. Instead of translating everything to figure out how to wash, if you're looking at a lot at once, like a menu or something, use the camera. So you could just hover it over it and it'll translate it right before your eyes.
Yeah, or you could just type in like what is quick wash and then
go that way.
Or if you're trying to find something in the food store, like baking powder, baking soda.
So my mommy said she texted me because she didn't really know how to like leave comments or stuff like that yet, but we'll teach her when we meet up with her. She said, talk about the importance of keeping data on the phone and the cost of it. So very important for us. Like I know a lot of travelers, they don't want to spend the money, but honestly, if you could spend $5 or $10 and it make your life so much easier, because I see travelers get lost all the time, or they'll be like, I had this issue, but I didn't know the language, so I didn't know what to tell the person. If you just invest in data, you wouldn't have any issues, you know what I mean? Even if you get lost, it could help you get back. If you have it's travel, things always go wrong. You need to be able to communicate with the people, you know what I mean? You can't always expect someone to know your language, or you may end up in a town and nobody speaks the language. And what if something goes wrong, you know what I mean? For us, it's a safety thing. to have communication for one, just with like family members, to get around with Google Maps and then with Google Translate. So
Or
in
if-
Mexico,
or
how much we
if-
spend?
Or if I go out to the food store, or if I dash out for a haircut or something, I'll still want to be in communication with Zanya to let her know
What's
going on,
for real?
that I reached there safely, or that I on my way back, or if I have to ask her if she needs something extra that we may have forgotten on the list, or whatever the case is. You always want to have that means of communication. If something were to happen, you know what I mean? Or if
Yeah.
something were to happen with her back here at the Airbnb, and I'm at the bar or at the food store, whatever the case is, and she need to get in contact with me, you know what I mean? I want to make sure that I have that pathway open for us to be able to connect.
For real.
And with Americans, I know that Verizon or AT&T, I think it's Verizon, they still have coverage when they come here.
T-Mobile too, I think.
Oh, okay.
You could look at your current cell phone provider. They may
Yeah.
have a package where they may not charge you anything extra even to use your data in another country, but I see it as a safety thing. Like even with Airbnb, you may come back, and a lot of these Airbnbs are not using keys anymore. You may come back to your Airbnb and like the key fob, the pad isn't working, it's not letting you in the building. You could at least contact your Airbnb host or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a must for us. Like for us, convenience and safety, we feel like we need data. In Romania, it was $6 for 56 gigabytes, the cheapest we ever found.
Ever.
In
For 56 gigs?
Italy, I want to say he was getting like about 50 gigs, but it's like $30.
And I think you had to pay a deposit.
No.
They took a deposit by accident.
They took it by accident,
Yeah.
but I was able to get it back.
Yeah.
In Mexico, it's like a little more expensive. Is $10 for about 2 gigs, and probably like $12. $10 for 2
2 gigs
gigs.
or 5 gigs?
2 gigs. Because remember, it's 200 pesos for 2 gigs, 300 pesos for 3 gigs.
Really?
For 3 gigs, it's like $15 US. So it's a little more expensive in Mexico, but when you compare it to what we paying in like the States, Canada, or the Bahamas, it's pretty affordable. And like I say, very important for us in terms of like convenience and safety.
And it's not like we on it while we're home, because we have Wi-Fi while we're here.
Yeah.
It's only if we need to translate something and we're not around Wi-Fi, or we need to stay in communication if we're not near each other.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it saved us in Turkey too. When we had internet issues, we were able to use our data to upload our videos for Vlogmas. Yeah.
And you can in these places, you can always find somewhere that has a data package, even if you just want internet and no
cell phone minutes or nothing like that.
Yeah. Our plan is just unlimited internet, not unlimited.
Unlimited text.
Unlimited text.
Unlimited text.
And,
worldwide text.
Yeah, and the 2 gigs of data.
Yeah. So like we just use it for getting around and translation.
Yeah.
And like if we apart from each other, because we don't always be together all the time. Like sometimes I may run out to the food store if Darian's still sleeping or whatever the case may be. If something happened, I need to be able to contact him or whatever. And especially if you're solo traveling, you want to have that because you want to stay in touch with your family. Like your family may be worried, you know what I mean? You may be perfectly fine, but your family want to hear from you often or whatever. So you want to keep that line of communication open for them.
Or something may happen back at home and they need to get in contact with you quickly, you know what I mean? And let you know.
And if you're traveling all day, you may not get to Wi-Fi
until late, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, Kim.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Glad you could join us.
Yeah, we're happy with how this live went. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah,
and
thank you for joining us and asking the questions.
We want to do
keeping
this.
Keeping it live and keeping it fresh,
Keeping it
interactive.
Going. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Misty.
Hey, Misty.
Yes, honey, machi.
Like
he copied me.
Like, you know, who copied who? Like Zanya said, we'll be doing this once a month.
Yeah, we plan to do it once a month. just to keep things like up to date, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Tell you all our upcoming plans, because like we say, like right now in this moment, we don't know what our next step looking like.
Mhm.
But by keeping, we can give you all a little insight. Let me look at what else we wanted to address in this live. I have to look on Instagram. If y'all have any other questions, you could leave them. I'm trying to remember what else I said we would talk about.
It was future plans.
We
What
already talked about how travel changed for
how
us.
travel changed for us. What we've been up to. Um, what travel is like now during this time.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I think
that's
that's
a
one
big
more thing we
one.
wanted to address. So we wanted to talk about like how we feel
Traveling during
the pandemic been like
the Panera.
in some cases we like we're very grateful to be able to do this,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say at least once or twice we feel like it took away a lot
From the
based on,
experience.
because we were watching travelers for a while now, because we've been planning this before it all happened, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like by the time it happened, we had already saved a couple months worth of savings to be able to do this, because we had our leaving date already set and everything.
Mm-hmm.
We had already gave up our apartment, we already sold some stuff, you know what I mean? Like it was happening
Mm-hmm.
before any of this hit. So based on when we like watch a lot of travelers, it was so much easier not having to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the landscape of travel was much more different than it is now.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not gonna go back to that. You know what I mean?
No.
This is gonna be the new normal for a very long time. But we've been staying open and resilient and like just
Mm-hmm.
doing what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
So when places close, we look at what's open. You know what I mean? If you focus on what you could do, it makes it a lot easier. Especially like we say, a lot of places you get that feeling of normalcy. Like in Romania, it felt very normal. It felt like pre-pandemic days, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that was very refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of grateful it turned out the way it did, because Turkey was never on my list. Romania was never on my list. Serbia was never on my list to travel to.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were thinking about like Bali, Vietnam, Southeast Asia, where our money could stretch. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So because all of this happened, we ended up going to places that we want to visit a lot of countries, but they weren't anywhere on our immediate list. So it opened our eyes to different areas.
Mm-hmm.
And like now, for example, we interested in exploring the Balkans, and we probably wouldn't have.
And not only being adaptable, but being open to change. You know what I mean? Not
Hmm.
being stuck in, since we can't go to this place,
We
then
ain't going
we
nowhere.
ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? So it's good to not only be adaptable, but still be open to change when it comes and be ready to make that necessary change.
Yeah, and then too, we learn from our mistakes. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was times, like for example, in Turkey when we got scared that everywhere was gonna close down again, so we rushed back to Mexico. You know what I mean? And we were like, oh, maybe we should have stayed in the area. We would have saved money, or leaving Romania instead of going to like other areas, because everything seemed so expensive at the time. We were like, okay, let's just rush back to Mexico. So like now we know, but and then things end up working out. If had we stayed there, or had we stayed in the Balkans, things would have worked out. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So we learn to have faith and hope. You know what I mean? As opposed to like, if something doesn't go as planned, we feel
Mm-hmm.
like we got to go back to the drawing board. We have to come back to Mexico and stay a couple months, or like the world could fall apart if
Mm-hmm.
if the news saying something, or if traveling saying something. We just know now from our mistakes, our expensive mistakes, um like leaving a region because we felt like we had to and we didn't.
But even though that happened, it was good to know that we still have a home base here in Mexico that we
To
could
come
come
back
to,
to.
reset, and then leave again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then you come here and then things work out, and then you're like, oh, so I didn't have to spend $1,800 to come here. I could have used that money over there, you know? So we learn now that we went through it, when we see certain things happen again, we know not to panic, and we just
Yeah,
know
and
things
trust
will.
ourselves and our abilities to make things
figure it
happen. You
out.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
there'll always be somewhere we could go. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So even though it may seem like things changing so quickly,
Or like you're not in control.
or the whole world shutting down, like
Mhm.
definitely not. There's a lot of places that stayed open the whole time or will always be available to us,
Mhm.
even when things get crazy. So we know that now going forward, and I feel like when we do start traveling again, it'll be more fluid.
Mhm.
That's the best I could say. Like we'll be able to fully explore a region as opposed to like hopping around the map. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Which will save us a lot of money. Yeah, so anybody have any more questions? Let me make sure I touch on everything. I have to look at that thumbnail on my laptop to make sure I'm missing nothing. Um,
Anybody have any questions?
let's see. Didn't it look like it tripping a little bit again?
Mm.
Let me ask our family if they could hear us.
I don't think you missed anything. Like we said, we'll be saving this live on our YouTube channel. So if you know anyone who the information that we covered may be of interest to, you could let them know, share the video, and it can always be here for you to reference back if you weren't in from the beginning.
Yeah. And then you could also if you're watching this after the live, you could also leave questions in the comments and we'll
Mhm.
answer it on our other live or we may do a video on it.
Mhm.
So let me see. What we've been up to, changing the way we travel and future plans. I think we touch all of those.
Yeah.
We touch all of those. We're just going through to see if we miss any questions. It's been fun though.
Missy said they could hear us. Bernadine said thanks. I'll share the video.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd say one of the biggest ways travel has affected me is in regards to learning more about myself, um, trusting in our abilities to do what it is that we set out to do,
Mm-hmm.
and in meeting new people from different backgrounds and hearing from their experiences and stories, you gain a different outlook on the world and how things operate in their part of the world that you may have not necessarily been used to, but now you know that hey, your viewpoint isn't the only way that things can turn out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
And I learned that there are multiple ways to get to the same end result, and things don't always work out the way you plan, and that's okay. You just have to be open and be ready for change and know that things can happen and change in the blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be adaptable, you know what I mean?
That's the biggest part about traveling right now. Like you have to kind of go in it with a plan B and a plan C
Mm-hmm.
and not be like shotted if the place you wanted to go to you can't go to and you have to
Mhm.
reroute. Like you have to be on your, and like we say, this is how it's gonna be for a very long time.
Mhm.
Like we know for a fact that it's gonna be like this for a while. So you kind of have to be on your toes and like doing your due diligence with doing your research. And like if you research a place and it's open and you book your tickets, like every so often make sure you going back and making
Mhm.
sure it's still
Keeping up to
open.
date with the information.
Yeah, because like things change all the time. You don't
Mhm.
want to assume that nothing changed and then you get to the airport and you can't get on the plane. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So traveling during this time is definitely different, but that's our goal to show people that we're not stuck. You know what I mean? Like there's always something we could do. You know what I mean? Like if we want to travel, there's always a way around it. There's always somewhere you can go.
Yeah,
So
especially in these times of uncertainty, things may look bleak and like they're not getting any better, but it's
mhm,
all based on your perspective and your outlook.
yeah.
Um,
So we
and
hope
would you
to.
choose? Sorry,
Oh, sorry.
would you choose to feed into and give your attention and your energy to.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of panic, fear mongering going on right now, and you just have to control what you let in
Mm-hmm.
and
Use discernment.
what you're susceptible to. So use your discernment, the kind of people you keep around you, the information that you let in. Just be conscious of what you're doing in these times, because what you do now will affect how you are and the way things turn out for you in the days to come. The
Yeah,
preparation and things you do now will definitely be reflective in the days to come.
for sure. Yeah, so that's the main thing with traveling right now. And like I would say always like keep up with YouTube too, because you have people like us who travel in and want to give firsthand information and want to be on the ground to show you how things are in these places. If
Hmm.
you keep up with those people, it'll help you because on your end, you may feel like things look bleak. Whereas in the country that you want to go to, like things extremely normal. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like it's super chill,
Hmm.
no stress. And by you go in, you give yourself that little oasis to get your mind right before you get back home to whatever craziness going on. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So definitely, like we said, don't lose hope. Stay open and definitely do your research and keep up with like YouTubers and travelers who still out here in these streets to
Hmm.
make sure like we getting the information to y'all so y'all don't feel stuck. Like that's our goal. Sharing the information so you don't feel stuck and you could see how it could be attainable for you based on your style and based on what you like.
And then towards that, you want to expand the means by which you receive your information. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, for sure.
So definitely be aware of what you consume online
Mm-hmm.
and through the media, because there's all kind of different um, there's all kind of different sources by which you can receive your information. So you just have to be aware of who has a hidden agenda, from who is just regurgitating information that they heard that
Mm-hmm.
they know nothing about. They didn't do any research, so they just regurgitating the same old misinformation to you, and you're going by it and taking it as bond. You know what I mean?
Stick with
Wherein,
the people who actually there on the
mm-hmm,
ground. Like if you're looking at going to Turkey, watch people who in Turkey right now. If you're
mm-hmm.
looking to go to Romania, watch people who recently left Romania or in Romania right now. You can't really listen to like
That's someone who's been to
people
Romania
two
20
years
years
ago.
ago.
Like you can't you have to go based on like so if you go into Romania, type in like Romania vlog or
Mm-hmm,
type in Romania vlog 2021
mm-hmm.
and try to look at people who've been in the last couple months or people who posted a video like a week ago or something.
Or
And
type
that's
in
how,
traveling during the pandemic.
yeah, that's how you kind of like stay on top of the information. Because
Mm-hmm,
if you relying on the news to tell you or the media to tell you, you wouldn't move a step. You would never leave your house.
mm-mm.
So, but we'll try to wrap this up because we've been on here for almost 2.5 hours. But thank y'all so much for being on here. If y'all have any last questions, we'll take them. And like we said, if you're watching us after the fact, you could leave the questions in the comments. Subscribe if you like our
Mm-hmm.
content. We plan on doing this at least once a month.
And then we'll still go live on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
So you can follow us on there and keep up to date in our stories, what we're up to,
Mm-hmm.
or what we plan to get into.
Yeah, we'll build up our travel Instagram more that we have more of a following.
Hmm. Yeah, our channel is growing slowly but steadily, and we
Yes.
appreciate the community that we're building. We thank you guys for your continuous support and your interaction, and the compliments that we get in each video continue to push us and
Mm-hmm.
strive to produce good quality content for you guys.
Yeah, so thank y'all for everything. I don't think we haven't. Oh, thanks, guys. Great advice. Have a good night. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night,
You
too.
too.
So, thank y'all so much. Thanks for being here. We'll see y'all in our next video or on Instagram. If you have any questions, you could always ask us in our DMs on Instagram. We'll leave all the information in the bio and we'll
Hmm.
remember to put those travelers who you could follow for reference to,
Yeah.
like Black solo female travelers who
Hmm.
like traveling right now or
Hmm.
recently or was traveling through the whole pandemic.
And we'll put some of the sources that we use too, like Travel Off Path, Can I Travel,
.net.
cannatravel.net. We put all our different sources that we use to help keep us up to date with information and as it relates to restrictions and things like that in the description.
Yeah.
Love you, love, miss you, tons, keep you safe, love.
Love you too.
Love you
Miss
too.
you too.
The live has been great. Yeah, like Zonny said, we'll be doing this once a month. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for tuning in. Any last questions before we sign off?
I think everybody just saying bye and thanks. Thanks for being here, y'all.
Yeah.
So we'll see y'all in the next video. We'll try to get a video out on Wednesday or next Sunday. We haven't been doing much. We've just been in the house, so that's why we haven't been putting out anything. But
Yeah.
we'll try to put out something on Wednesday.
Yeah, we rather put out quality than just to put up a video just to say that we have a video up to date. You know what I mean?
But I think that's it. So,
and if you remember anything that you wanted to ask, you can leave it down below or you can DM us on Instagram.
Yeah. So, see y'all later.
See ya.
Night.
Thank you. Good night.